ripped me a new one. So now I give it to this dope, and he can't put it together.
You see, where are we going to go if you leave? It's impossible.
No, that is true.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right.
Great. I'm glad you're back.
We're in trouble.
Even though it doesn't smell like it, it looks like one.
How can you guys be so buddy-buddy after, trying to throw him under the bus?
We were just reading the script.
Hey, good job. Did I say, was I supposed to say imbecile or idiot?
Imbecile.
I got it right. Good. All right.
Sal, really? You're not upset about...
I am. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I know you take your bits. You have a lot of personal pride in your bits.
Who put the order wrong? Who put the order wrong? What's my line?
I put the order wrong.
Thank you. Who didn't properly listen to the content?
You.
Both of them.
Excuse me. Boss has to eat.
So, Sal, you're not really...
Sal, you handed it to him.
I did, because
Why did you fess up to it?
No, Gary did. I said I didn't sit there. I made the mistake.
No, but you gave them to him wrong, and it's not his job to listen to him for content. It's his job to listen to him for audio. You're the one who creates it. You create the content. For all he knows, that's what you wanted.
That's true. I mean, even though you know what? I always listen to it with him because my job is the audio part.
It was your fault.
Yeah, the content part is.
But it's not even a little Scott's fault. It really isn't. In this particular case.
All right.
Scott, your job is to make sure it's the way that you put it together.
That's true. And Scott's supposed to test it to make sure that it works.
It sounds good, and it sounded great. It just sounded great in the wrong order.
Right. All right. Well, we're halfway there.
This is the best of the wrap-up show. A recap and behind-the-scenes look with John High and Gary 𝗛𝗏𝗏. The best of the wrap-up show begins now.
On Thursday's wrap-up show, well, it was a very special wrap-up show. Artie came in after, on yesterday's wrap-up show, Gary said he was lying, and Artie started today's Howard Stern show saying that he wasn't too fond of that, and it carried over onto the wrap-up show where Artie said he wasn't going to come again. Well, he showed up and stayed for the whole thing, and we couldn't, usually on Howard TV, we show you 8 to 10 minutes of the best of the wrap-up show. Well, we couldn't cut this because so much happened and it was really intense, so here it is, Artie and Gary and Will and Greg Fitzsimmons and me and Benji and everybody else who was in there talking about whether or not Artie Lang is a liar.
Artie, I'm surprised to see you here after this morning. I didn't think you'd ever be back in our wonderful studio.
I was to Gary.
You're back.
Gary, by the way, I think we made up, but what a show business move to say I'm due. That's like a producer, like, Artie's dead to me. That's like what Jerry Bruckheimer says to you.
I got to be honest with
one of his charity hockey games.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not so sure we made up. I mean, Howard said we made up, but we didn't really. We never really made up.
I came in here today to really
tell 1/10 of the audience that heard you this morning you're sorry.
Well, what do you mean?
We don't have the listenership that
No. I said this today. I think I made this point today when I said that I came in there today mad and I wanted to say mean things because I was mad, and I said some things I didn't mean.
But see, you have to seriously. How do I know you didn't meet him?
That's me, man.
That's the tough part. Like you said him.
Me. It's like, you know what I'm like? I'm like David Niven in the Pink Panther. It's all a lie.
But it's just it's so hard to tell.
You have to pick and choose. I lost my credibility with you and Will.
And others. And I give Will some credit, at least, for having the balls to come in, because he's not the only guy that...
I like
No,
Will.
but Will's not the only guy that grabs my ear and says... He's just the only guy that had the balls to come in and
who the fish?
A lot of people. I'm being serious.
It's not that Fruity Jason, is it?
No, not Fruity Jason.
Who else? Not the black intern. Did he hear me say that thing?
No, not Black John.
I thought Black John was in he heard me say something. But anyway, I didn't say anything. The Knicks didn't cover, and I said something. But Black John. I love Black John. Any Jew interns? Are you a Jew intern? What's your name, sweetie? Jessica. Jew Jessica. Why don't you call her Jew Jessica if you're going to call John Black John?
You said the black intern.
No, you said Black John.
I was joking.
Do we have?
Right.
Oh, how do I believe you? How do I know when you're joking?
Are there lots of white Johns?
Especially since I'm not funny or a comedian.
Well, Garrett, listen, you're not a comedian.
Or funny.
I thought you were Jew John.
Do you think you're a funny person?
No, but I don't think I don't think. But you made it sound.
I think you're a good storyteller.
You made it. Well, apparently that's not even true.
No, I think yes, I do. You know that.
You just said, "Oh no!" You want me to tell the story about Richard Lewis?
Dude, well, that was me being. I'm arguing. I'm being an.
But how do I know?
What do you do? How do I know when you're joking? Now we're in a web of lies, as Jason would say.
Look, you both break each other's balls.
John, it's a web of lies.
You both break each other's balls, but it seems like there's an underlying level of animosity between the two of you, and neither of you guys know where it's coming from.
No, John,
that's true.
And
it's true that there is, and it's true I don't know where it's coming from.
Well, I don't know either. Like, that's the thing. For months now, I have noticed a difference in our relationship because I think you believed certain things that people said that I didn't want you to come on these trips, and that's why I knew that was a sore spot and a weak spot, and that's why I sort of went at you there. I was very hurt by what you said on the wrap-up show, and let me tell you something. If we replay that clip, I think I'd be justified in it. If a coworker and a person who's supposed to be a friend says something like that about you, a blanket statement, he lies about everything.
But I didn't say. I said, how do we know if we could trust him? And the funny thing is, myself.
Let's calm down with that. No, have I ever done anything to you like where I really, really betrayed a trust to you? Like really a bad thing where like I flew over, man. Like, you know what, Artie flew me over.
No, on a personal level, no.
Well, that's what it sounds like, though.
No, but
that's what it sounds like to people.
Maybe some of the animosity for me comes from. I'll be upfront. I'm not crazy about the way you've treated the show in, say, the last 8 or 9 months.
How have I done that?
Well, but by lying about what you're up to, about like not showing up all the time. I know you think.
No, but listen, that's your beef's with Howard, man. If Howard would pull me aside and say stop doing that,
you wouldn't. Oh, I don't think you would.
Okay, well, you know what?
Would you? I mean, would you?
Of course I would. Howard laughs at the whole thing. He laughs when I sleep. He loves when I fall asleep because it's fascinating.
All right.
So bring it up with him. If Howard Stern pulled me aside and said, "Art, listen, if you're late 5 more times in the next couple weeks, or if you're late, and I'm late twice every 4 months, okay, or I'm absent twice every 6 months." He knows that I'm in here most of the time, and it's not that big of a deal, but you get a lot of material out of it. If Howard sat me down and said, "Dude, if that happens again, I don't know if you could work here anymore," I would probably get my ass in here. And the fact is, if it happened again and he doesn't fire me, what kind of message did that send to me?
That's true.
Well, all right. So, I mean, your problem's with him, Gar, not me. It is.
I think that's funny.
It is. Tell Howard. We're all look. All of us are serving one guy here. Let's face it.
That's true.
I mean, that's obvious. I mean, as much as I would care if I made you mad about something, ultimately my job's in jeopardy if Howard's mad about it. You know. And I think all of us know that, and we feed off of that. So we don't really care if we aggravate each other. I don't really give a f if you think I'm hurting the show, as long as Howard.
No, I don't think you're hurting the show. I will never say that.
Okay, if you think I'm treating the show
disrespecting
badly,
it, but not hurting it.
Okay.
You're not hurting it.
Ultimately, if you think
you're helping it on some days, while you're disrespecting it, you're helping it, which is so weird.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's a weird gray area we're in here. You know, if ultimately if you think I'm disrespecting the show, while it hurts me that you would think that, it doesn't affect my life at all, man.
Right.
But if Howard thinks that and he makes that clear to me, then it affects my life. And all of us are this. If you were doing something that pissed me off, Gar, ultimately you might care because we're friends, but it's not affecting your life at all. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Right, but you'd still be pissed off.
I would be. And, you know, a caller made an example. I didn't listen to the whole wrap-up show yesterday, but maybe Ralph called up and called me a liar again. A caller said Artie should be more mad at Ralph than he is at Will and Gary. And here's the point. I'm not, because, and this is difficult to put, and I don't want to insult Ralph in any way, but ultimately, I honestly don't give a f about what Ralph thinks. Just because, like, when this show ends, Ralph and I have the kind of relationship where I'm probably not going to be friends with Ralph after the show ends, because I might aggravate him, he might aggravate me. We could be great friends one day, and then I say something that annoys him, and he'll get on the air and say the most vicious, and I might say something vicious about him. So it's so up and down with Ralph. I just know we're not the same type of guy. I'd wish him nothing but luck, but ultimately I'm not the kind of friend on a permanent level with Ralph that I might be with you or Will. You know, if I did a show, if I went on to do a show somehow, I would hire you and Will in a heartbeat or be a partner with you on something. That's probably not going to happen with Ralph while I like him. So I don't really care if Ralph thinks I'm a liar on any level. Like, it doesn't bother me and it doesn't affect my work. You guys, it does. It affects me. That makes me mad because I think we're better friends than that.
Right, and it's funny, if you would have listened to the clip yesterday, I said, people, I know exactly what I said because I listened to it again. I said, people are saying that Artie's lying. Then I said, I believed you about the urine story, and then I said, with the jogging story, I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know when he's telling the truth or not.
You said he lies about everything.
I don't know if I said that.
You said he lies about everything. Look at, like, the jogging story. And for a casual listener just to hear that, they don't know what the jogging story is. They don't know what context it's in. And people are like, okay, Artie just lies about everything now. That's awful.
But
it's not this jogging story.
The funny thing is, and maybe because you're saying it came out of me, it's not the first time it's come up on the wrap-up show.
All right, I know.
That discussion.
Yeah, but I don't know. That line hit me harder than others.
Well, I wasn't looking to,
And that's what's getting lost in all this. Like, people aren't saying that, oh, maybe I'm justified in being mad at that. I think I am.
Right, and maybe I'm justified that you didn't come and see me and tell me, hey, Gary, what you said yesterday really pissed me off.
Hey, Howard, Gary, okay, the same way you didn't come to me about saying, hey, when you spilled the 𝗦𝘁𝗲, what did you say to me on the air? It's more fun to bust your balls on the air.
That's true.
Okay,
that's true.
I mean,
but I hardly put him on
a fucking crazy world here that we're living in. This is craziness. Everybody either wants to be great on the show or be your friend. Like,
I was too uncomfortable to come to you and say that to you off the air, to be honest.
Well,
it would just be too uncomfortable in conversation.
Maybe I was too uncomfortable to come to you about it. And so we put it on the air.
You look pretty comfortable now.
Well, we're on the air again.
I know.
We're back making great radio.
And by the way, I said to you the whole thing about I'm gonna now show you how all roads lead to Ralph.
Right.
I said that on the air this morning. The whole rap about that Gary does everything that Artie does and annoys Artie started with Ralph.
I know. Right.
And if it would have started with anybody but him, I probably would have brushed it off.
And again, I think Ralph makes for a lot of funny things on the air, and he can get under people's skin. But it annoyed me that, like, that's the thing that you're really sticking with based on something Ralph said. I mean, come on,
because
I like clearly that got in your head and you never let it go. But we didn't have it out till now.
But I'll tell you why. Because you obviously know that that's my Achilles heel. And when you're around, when you're not trying to piss me off, when you're around, you'll go there,
joking around,
and then you reel it back and you reel it back in. And so I never do.
If you were fighting with Achilles, where would you shoot the arrow?
Into his heel.
I have a question for you about the lying thing, because I think
worshiping cock.
I think it's important. You've acknowledged lying about the drugs for obvious reasons. Who at work are you going to tell that you're using drugs?
This is like Hein Lang, Frostniks.
But do you understand how? And I think Will was trying to make this point. Do you understand that if you lie about that, how that hurts your credibility about others? I know you say the drugs thing is one thing,
right?
That's separate.
So name something you think I've lied about that has something that has nothing to do with drugs.
I got to think about that.
Of course, because there isn't much there. I mean, I have a lot of drug addict friends who, when they're talking about drugs, you can't believe anything they say. But, they're not going to. If I ask them if they're banging my wife, if they say no, I believe them. It doesn't. I'm ashamed of the fact that I'm a drug addict. That's awful. But I've been very open about it for years now. It's part of my life. It's part of my persona, unfortunately. And, I'm afraid of losing work, and I might lie about it. That's the truth. The same way, like I used today. If you're speeding, you might say to, you were doing 85, but you say to the cop, God, no.
It's like if a married guy lies about cheating. Do you guys think he's a total liar then?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great example.
Well, what do you think of Bill Clinton?
I think a wife would have trouble trusting her husband again.
Right.
If she knew.
And all her friends.
Well, if he admits that he cheated.
No. But if your friend, I think what Benji's trying to say, is if you have a best friend, a guy that's like a brother to you, and he comes to you and says, look, I'm cheating on my wife, this is bad, and then you hear him lie to his wife about it, do you think he's a liar on every level, or just because he's lying to his wife?
No, I mean, you would say probably, though, that guy, I mean, if he's lying to his wife, might be a little untrustworthy in some ways.
But if he's lying to his wife to save a life that he might have with his kids and everything, and I mean,
I get that.
I mean, there's guys here that have cheated on their wife.
Right.
Okay.
You know it.
Benji's pretty sure he knows.
No,
Okay.
I mean, you just know it that everyone here, if it ever comes up in the air, they're saying, no, I'm faithful.
What are you going with, odds?
I'm going with odds.
Look, I've said I was faithful to Dana now for years.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But if someone lies, even if it's that, like Artie's example, you do think twice about them telling the truth in other scenarios. I mean, I was trying to think of other things because you asked that.
See, I can, look, I think you're thinking more morally and ethically about a guy doing that. Like, it might make me think less of his character, but it doesn't make me think he's lying to me about everything.
But Artie,
there's no question about that.
Here's a big issue too. So Artie, did you do drugs? No, that's a lie. Totally,
That's
understand.
a blanket thing. Like, did I do drugs? I'm saying, did I do? If Howard said to me, "Are you on heroin right now?"
Right, I understand.
I'm going to say no.
That I understand, but do you understand how it's?
And eventually, I always say yes for some reason.
It's not just that where some of the lies come in. It's not that black and white.
Right.
Because then it comes to other parts of your life. But I had to hide the drug thing, and it sort of permeates the big
I
parts of your life.
I understand.
And it's not so obvious.
Right, you could tie the drugs into a lot of things that go on. Like you said, the shrink. Well, you lied about the shrink because it was drug related.
Yeah, it was keeping my job related. That's what it was about.
But we weren't going to fire you.
Well, it was basically. Look,
we would have been. We were disappointed.
Look, how do I know that for sure? I don't know what you guys are thinking. I mean, there might be why wouldn't I think you're going to fire me? I mean,
Then why did you tell us that you stopped going if you thought we might fire you?
Because by then, obviously Howard didn't care, and I said it because of look, I do share some things that are crazy on the air because I think they're provocative.
Right. Like even when you called me about the drug test, when you called me at home that night, you said, "Listen, I'm not going to take this drug test. An entertainment lawyer told me to take it. If I take it, I'm going to lose a month's worth of pay if I go to rehab." But no one ever had that discussion with you that you would lose pay to go to rehab. In fact, most of the discussion here was go do what you need to do.
Look, I made a dumb deal, and in the deal, I said to Howard, "Without pay," and he said yes. That's where that came from. So it was all parameters I laid out. Don't get me wrong. When I called you, I was trying to get out of it.
Right.
I didn't say you guys did it. I laid it out.
But I mean, how many times?
And I realized how stupid it was.
How many times has Howard said, "Artie, go? If you want to go." And did he ever say, "And by the way, if you go, I'm suspending your pay for off the air"?
I brought it up. But
I mean, up to that point.
No, he never said that. Of course not. But I brought it up. So that was in the rule book that I laid out, and I was trying to get that out of the rule book. That's why I brought that up. But, I don't know. I mean, listen, maybe I don't want to go away for a month, too, because, maybe some guy will sit in the chair that you guys love. Jackie lost his job, I mean, maybe
Jackie quit.
Okay, but.
And quite honestly, the 50 people that sat in the chair after him weren't as funny as you.
All right. Well, listen.
Sorry, Jimmy Kimmel.
They might come back. A guy might come who you never heard of and be funny, and he could work for cheaper. This is America. I don't know, Or how it starts. Artie could come in Monday and Tuesday. We'll have this guy Wednesday. I think about that all. I worry about losing my job like everybody else in the world. And not so much for this stuff because Howard makes it funny, but losing my job to someone better? Yeah, of course I do.
But can I be the voice of morality? If you were that worried about it, wouldn't you just take care of yourself to make sure you didn't have to leave?
Well, again, Gary, we're going back to why I just got into drugs. I don't know. I got addicted to drugs, man. I have no idea how that happened.
Do you think you have a disease? Because you talked about that this morning,
no,
too.
I've never.
You don't think it's a disease?
I don't. I hate that rap. I think because there's been times in my life where I've been off of drugs for 4 years, and then I get the blues on the road, the wah thing, and I feel like getting high. I don't think that's a disease. I think that's a flaw in your character. I don't think it's a disease at all.
All right, since it's come up so much, we've got the clip from yesterday, so you guys can settle this once and for all. Hit it, Ted.
I just know what I hear in the office, so I'm sitting there thinking, like, Artie's out of his mind. This is crazy. I can't believe it. And then I hear somebody say, how do you know that you can believe what Artie just said? Which I hadn't thought of. Some people think that the story he told today might not be true.
Oh, that he didn't even have the urine? He was just
telling a great story. I'm believing he had the urine on him, but now the seed of doubt has been planted. That's how low his trust level is around here. I hadn't thought of that, but other people had.
Yeah, I said that to Gary because, I mean, it's funny. It sounds funny for him just to say, so who knows if it's the truth. And it's not to be insulting to Artie, but you can't take him at his word, obviously, at this point. So you can just speculate that anything he says is not true.
Yeah, but real kind of things that he's lied about, it's always been to protect his image. It's never been like just to pull a stunt.
No, he lies about everything. How did he protect his image when he told the Rolling Stone girl he was that he's going to tell us he went jogging? What do we give a shit?
And it is funny when he says he's going to take it out and slam it around, and that's a funny line.
It could be. I mean, it wouldn't be. I don't think it's that big, but I don't think he was lying about that.
So you think he had it on?
I have faith in Artie that he was lying to us about it, about the urine.
That he was telling the truth about lying about having the urine.
I don't know. That's pretty bad to me. I mean, that's up. But listen, you could play back a number of things I've said about people. If you just looked at a transcript of the show, it's awful. That hurt my feelings big time.
I'm surprised. I mean, I didn't mean it. I'm surprised. I really am surprised compared to some of the things that have been said.
Look,
but I'm not saying
everything.
If it bothers
you answered your own question. I don't give a if you knew I jogged with the. To use that as an example is awful.
No,
like, that's the example. Outside of the drug use that you use, a total joke.
Because it wasn't obvious it was a joke, and it seemed like, of anything,
how is that not a joke?
It seemed like something to not lie about.
I think you have a better sense of humor than this. Okay, how is that not a joke? The reporter knew it was a joke.
She did.
Yes, she did. She said it to you to create this.
So she came here and I'm telling you, but she didn't say it was. That might be true, but she didn't say she knew it was a joke.
And she was acting like by coming in here and being a little and saying, he said to me, he'll just lie if we don't jog.
Now, Will, you clearly said in there that, you didn't mean anything offensive by what you were saying.
Yeah, I don't think it's no insult to Artie, but how could you take his word for anything?
Oh, God, dude, that's not what I said. I said it was a funny story.
That's exactly what you said.
And how could you be so insulted that people might think you're lying about stuff? That's
the
part that's so ridiculous.
Lying about certain things is fine, but you're not getting my point. Not to take my word on anything is what pisses me off. That's a blanket statement about me as a person, not as a drug addict or a guy with a drug problem, saying you can't take my word about anything and that I lie about everything.
No, I don't say you lie about everything.
Well, you just did.
And you know what? I didn't mean that. What I do mean is that everything is now in question in my head. That doesn't mean you lie about everything.
Then,
it means everything's in question.
Then that's your problem, man. It's
a problem that's not that hard to have.
It shouldn't be in question. It shouldn't.
And I'm not the only one. I give Will credit.
You keep saying that. You're not the only one.
Because Will's the only.
Let's talk about you. I'm talking about you.
I'm not sure when you're telling the truth. That's me talking. That's it. I can't say it any other fucking way. I'm not positive when you're telling the truth anymore.
Tell me one time outside of drug stuff you think I've lied to you.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it.
Because I've never done it, Gary.
I guess not.
Of course I haven't.
So when you lie for drug stuff, that's okay, and I should know the difference.
Yeah, Gary, because people lie about shit they might get in trouble about. That's human nature. People lie about shit they think might be an awkward thing to say to somebody, because that's human nature. If everybody told the truth, everyone would hate each other's guts. That's what this show creates. It's good radio. But you can't think of one thing, and neither can John, because I've never lied about anything else, ever. And that's the problem.
So if you were on the other side of this, and you were me, and because I know you lie when it comes to drug stuff to protect yourself, I know that.
Okay.
I should know the difference. I should know that if it's
Gary,
not possible.
Have you ever lied to a boss?
Of course, but I'm just saying.
Have you ever lied to a boss about something drug related?
No, because I didn't really do a lot of drugs, and if I did, I never worked at it.
You might have been coked up all night, and someone might have said you look bad. Who you work for, and what'd you tell them? You overslept, or?
I've never been in that position. I swear to God, because I just never got to that.
Okay, but you've lied to your boss. Maybe you went to an Islander game too late one night.
Okay, fine.
Which I don't know why you were there.
Another gay sport
after '83. But so that's it, Gary. So you lied once or twice or three times to your boss. How do I know when you're telling the truth? It's called using your discretion. It's why you have a brain. It's using your reason. Okay, Artie's, he does heroin. You may lie about it, but he's not lying about this because he's never lied about something like that ever before.
I guess
you want to get on here and be interesting by just calling me a liar. So I'm not taking it anymore.
Okay, you said how you feel, and I said it's tough to know.
All right, okay, good. It's tough to know then. I'm sorry you can't figure that out.
Listen, I'm entitled to an opinion, Artie.
Okay, then it's a dumb opinion. I'm entitled to
That's
think
your
it's,
opinion.
I'm entitled to think it's a dumb opinion.
And you're totally entitled to think it's a dumb opinion. It's not.
Do you think
it's
that
not
I think it's
as
a dumb opinion is a dumb opinion?
It's not as cut and dried as you try to make it out to be, that everybody should know what the rules are about lying. For
not
Artie
a person
lying.
in this room hasn't lied, and
but that's not the point.
Yes, it is, Gary. We're talking about lying.
Who do you
about
think?
stuff.
Okay, John, me, you, Will, Benji. Who's got the highest lying percentage in this room?
I don't know. No idea. I don't know you guys. I don't know what you tell your wife. I don't know what you tell. I have no idea. You guys don't say on the air that I say. I shouldn't say it. I blurt it out. That's why you know I lied in the first place, because eventually I tell the truth. How do you know I'm not lying about? How do you know I didn't see the shrink for 4 months and the other thing isn't a lie? You don't know.
How do I know that you just said it?
It's all entertainment, Gary.
But how do I know when you're entertaining me or not?
If you don't know that, then you are a monkey. What are you talking about? if I say something
so I
funny,
should know that you might have lied about not going to the shrink.
No, Gary, you're picking and choosing what you think is a lie and what you don't think is a lie.
But do you understand why there might be confusion?
No. Yeah, but you gotta look. When we're on the air saying, dude, you gotta learn to separate that from me as a person. You just have to do that. That's what life. I don't know how much you guys lie to people in your life. I have no idea. You could lie to your wife every day, Gar. You could lie to your neighbor every day. You could lie to your PTA people You could lie to the defense.
Well, I don't know what
coach
you
on
do
your
when you leave
football
here
team.
either.
Okay.
I don't know what you tell.
How can I answer that question?
I don't know what you tell your sister or your mother or anybody else.
How can I answer that question?
Well, how can
lies the
anybody
most?
answer it?
Well, you asked it. Ask answerable questions.
For the whatever.
You have to separate what's on the air and what's in your private life or real life or whatever.
Right.
So that means that anything you say on the air could be right if it's for entertainment purposes.
It could be a joke.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's exactly the point yesterday. That we were saying it could be.
But you see, if it's that gray, why even bring up anything that's said on the air? I mean, why talk about anything I've said on the air?
Because that's what the show's supposed to just talk.
If it could be a joke, then just say, "Oh, Artie was joking around." I don't know.
That's what we said.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Well, we
That's
said
not
it was
what
a lie.
you said.
It was a lie instead of a joke.
No, you
I said it was a funny line.
You said you can't take my word on anything, and that's you being serious.
I don't know if it was that serious like that.
Right,
but
well, I don't know.
But I mean, I
were
don't
you
think
trying to be funny when you said that?
I'm obviously the most unfunny person and should be
No,
on the
Gary
show.
is.
I'm unfunny.
Gary's
Do
Do you think you're a funny guy, Will?
You don't know me. You don't
yes,
know
I
me.
do.
No, you don't.
Well, I've worked with you for 8
That's
years.
a difficult
you
question
don't.
coming from you because you're way funnier than all of us. So when you say it, it's sort of a question.
Well,
Will could be
how
funny,
do we-
but he's not.
Yeah,
He's not Artie funny.
Artie, you've never hung out with me. You
He's
don't know whether
probably-
I'm funny or not.
He's the 80th funny Eagle fan I've ever met.
Okay, well, that's
he's
fine.
not even in the top 79.
Dude.
The guy who said he'd throw Ralph off the 700 section, that guy should be working.
One trick
It's funny
pony.
because
Guy had one good line. He's
He
like
called
the
Ralph-
unknown,
he
like the
called
unknown
Ralph
comic.
He called Ralph a heatless fag.
But hey, Art, that's kind of
that's an unfair card to play though, because you're right. I mean, Gary's right. You make your living being funny.
When you ask me
Well,
if
when
I think I'm funny,
when you guys come into this show and try to be funny, then you're coming into my territory. So I'm going to judge your funniness on this show.
because
I know
not.
you're funny
No,
watching
no.
a Philly game
I'll
with
tell
your
you what,
friends.
this
We're
show's
not
not
in your-
always about being funny.
right, we're
It's
not
about
in your
what goes
territory.
on.
The purpose
Should
of
be.
this show is not to be funny round the clock.
Well, you're
We-
doing
we-
a bang-up job.
We discuss the wrap-up show, and once in a while we'll crack a joke because it just happens to be there. Whether you think that joke is funny or not, you're totally entitled to. But we're
Well,
not
I
coming.
didn't get the
You
memo.
make it
I didn't get the wrap-up
You
show
make it.
summary.
You make it sound like we're coming in here trying to be you, and we're not.
No, I don't think you're trying to be me.
Wait,
'cause
can
then
I
you'd be
say
lying
can I
all the
say
time.
one thing
No,
that
we're
might
try-
frame
or
might
less
frame
funny.
the debate
If
a
you were
little
trying
bit?
to
Is
be
it about
me-
that reporter?
Benji,
Oh,
if you
for
say it
sure.
again, I'm going to punch you in the head.
seriously,
Wait, what, you're not allowed to say.
no, stop.
I'm going to punch you in the head.
What?
All right, stop.
Wait, why is that the worst thing
The,
that's been
the, the thing
No
that I want to
bullshit.
say
Are
is
you
that
retarded?
No,
Then just listen.
I don't understand why that would get you so mad.
Well, because you're trying to be funny and you're not being funny.
Is that the part that's getting you mad?
Yes, the
It's
wrap-up
exact-
show is not about being funny.
I mean,
unless
the
you're
thing
Artie.
I was going to say is
Sometimes, if
it's
the
a-
funny-
Will, try saying it. See what happens.
If funny presents itself, did you hear Gary? Then you try to be funny.
Well, I guess what I wanted to point out is, like, if you're going to lie, obviously as a comedian, your premise is it can go anywhere from exaggeration to all-out lies for entertainment purpose. So if you're on the radio, I think it's akin to that on some level. So I guess the definition of a lie in terms of it affecting your friendship has to be defined as something that's hurtful to you or the show.
In your person. See, in other words, if you agree with what he just said, and I do, then being offended by anything I say on the air has to go out the window, because something on the air could be anything. If I ever come to you in your office and say, Gary, listen, I'm not on heroin, man. I promise you. Did I ever say that to you,
No.
person? No. And then, because that I'd be a little more insulted by. When I'm on the radio, like Greg said, I'm trying to be entertaining. So for you to take anything I say on the air as gospel and to be offended by it is a little retarded.
So
No,
when
but
you,
I'm not
when,
saying
hold
that-
on. When you talk to us off the air during commercial breaks about your experiences at the Shrink, should I know the difference? And you did. Howard said, you go to Shrink? Oh, you mentioned whatever.
No, because I did go to the Shrink a couple of times, and I talked about my experience.
Even
there.
that number, did you go one and a
I
half
didn't make up
times?
stuff that didn't happen at the Shrink. I went about 2 times, and I told Howard what my opinion was of it.
So you asked your Shrink if it was okay for you to drink, or you told your Shrink you were going to drink?
That's the last time I went. I told him I had tequila, and then I.
So in your
stopped
second visit, you told him.
Yeah. It came up pretty quick.
No, and I'm not. I didn't say that to defend Artie. I'm saying
Thank you, Greg.
I'm saying it to point out that there may be things that you've said to Gary off the air, and it seems to me that in terms of anybody that you have a relationship with off the show, they can be angry about a lie that affected them in some way,
Right.
but I don't know. I'm unclear on how that affects what he says on the air, because certainly Howard may not have a small penis, and Dean Martin didn't really have a drink in his hand all those years. There's certain things.
Greg, I swear to God, I don't even know what you're talking about.
No,
I got lost. And I'm
Why do I know what he's talking about?
I don't know. I'm just. I'm stupid.
You have a problem with Artie lying, right? And it affects your friendship, correct?
Yeah, okay.
No, I don't
All
think
right. So what I'm saying, wait, hold on, Will. I'm just trying to clarify this so we understand. What I'm saying is a lie versus comedic license is something, and I'm not defending Artie, because if he did lie to you off the air, then that is wrong, and that's something that he has to address.
Artie not going to the shrink was no comedic license. It was just him lying.
No, well, we didn't laugh about that on the air? That didn't create an hour of
no,
material?
did it create material? Yes. Did we laugh about it? No.
Yes, we did. Howard laughed about it. What he's saying is, if you're going to admit that sometimes while I'm on the air in that forum, I'm trying to be funny, you can't take anything I say as gospel. And to be offended by it is stupid. If I come to you off the air and say something to you that's a direct lie that really betrays you, then that's a different story. And that's never happened, and I've never done that to a friend, and I will never do that ever in my life.
Artie, what about when you called me and gave me a 20-minute speech about how you couldn't come to my wedding because you couldn't be around drugs and alcohol?
That's the truth.
No, because your shrink told you couldn't do it.
Listen,
and then you went in there and said you didn't want to come because you didn't want to go because whatever.
Because I was trying to be funny, and I said I don't want
Artie,
to go to
that's the truth, and I don't care. You're not
wedding.
offending me. That's the truth, though.
Well, I didn't want to go because I didn't want to drink at dinner. Same reason I didn't go to Fred's party. I don't go to things where if I think I'm going to fall off the wagon.
But I think you were, at that point, you were still doing heroin.
Well, I wasn't. I was not. I was on the heroin wagon at that point. And how would you know anyway, man?
Because
exactly.
It's all speculation.
Because
so shut up about it.
On the wrap-up show.
Don't talk about you don't know because you're going to get in a bad area.
But on the wrap-up show, and again, I asked you 2 weeks ago, Artie, how long were you on heroin? You said off and on from the end of August till December.
Off and on.
Well, Will's wedding was in September.
What does off and on mean?
But how do we? I don't know, man. But it could have.
I said off and on. I didn't say constantly from August to December.
So the second you got off of heroin was just happened to be the week that Will was getting married. When you didn't want to drink.
It could have been. I got off heroin to go to Afghanistan.
Somebody said earlier, Artie, about ultimately Gary should be mad at Howard, not at you, because Howard is the one who lets you.
Howard runs the show. We all know that here. Okay, if Howard was mad at me, there'd be consequences for what I'm doing. He's not. So Gary should go to Howard and say, listen, Artie's been disrespecting the show, and I don't like that. And Howard then has to react to that.
You're right. And Howard doesn't react to it.
Okay, so what am I?
But
So does that give you a license to basically do whatever you want to do?
Yeah, until Howard tells me not to.
The Greg Fitzsimmons school of, he's talented enough to do what he wants.
That's not what I said.
It's sort of exactly what you said, Greg.
No, what I said was, what Artie said is true. Look, there's a guy who makes personnel decisions here. There's no democracy. There's no real. There may be some input, but it's his decision. Do I think it's a good idea that Artie's in bad shape and he's still on the air? That's not for me to decide. I think that it's an issue that
But when you were here, you said, "Listen, you take what you get. Artie's a talent."
And why are you insulted by that guy?
No, you are a talent.
Okay, and you're not.
He said because you're a talent that you are held to a different standard,
and
which you are. But then he went on to say,
I get paid more than other people here, too. Why do I get paid more than people?
You should be able to do whatever you want.
You
should be able to do whatever you want.
Pissed off that they don't make the same amount of money
You're missing the point. I didn't finish the thought.
No, but you're adding your own thought.
I'm not adding it. You said it.
No, I did not say Artie should be able to do whatever he wants. You added that.
No, you did.
I ended at Artie has problems. He doesn't always come in on time. Howard doesn't have a problem with that. So apparently those are the standards for Artie. Not set by you.
I've been late 10 times in 8 years.
I didn't say it was good. I didn't encourage it. I didn't say.
But it's not true because your exact example was that you worked on a show and that you came in late because you wrote jokes that got on. And you know what? It wasn't right, but them.
Well, guess what? If I'm doing a monologue every day, I'm keeping the guy who writes the funny jokes, not the guy who's here on time who sucks.
Gary,
man.
You're assigning a cause effect to that wasn't there. I didn't say, phew, I'm coming in late and leaving early. I came in late because I was really unhappy. And when I was there, I worked really hard and I got a lot of shots.
I think the exact word was like tough I think.
No, that was not the exact words. I defy you to show me that on the tape.
See, you're offended by him acting acting like a producer. You're offended by what he just said because you have animosity probably towards funny people because you want to be one. But clearly that's what's going on. You're offended by
There were
him.
funny people before you got here, and they didn't offend me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sam Kinison never offended you.
No,
by
he
his
did
behavior.
not. No, he did not because he didn't work for me.
Right.
He did not. He never offended me by his behavior.
Okay.
But that's a
Jackie never annoyed you?
No, because Jackie took the show seriously.
Oh, okay. Jackie, who walked out on a contract. Pick your battles, man. No, it's not a different story. That's not disrespecting the show.
Oh no, but I was offended by that.
Okay, what you just
but-
said was wrong. You said someone else did offend you in history of the show.
Yeah, he didn't do it on a daily basis.
Yeah, neither am I, Gar. I've offended you on a daily
No, that's
basis
wrong.
for
No,
8
you're
years.
wrong. You're wrong. It's not a daily basis. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
I'm right about
But
everything.
it's more. Whatever.
Garrett, listen, let me tell you something. If you're Ellen DeGeneres or Jay Leno, and there's a guy that writes jokes that get laughs every time, but he's always an hour late. Sometimes he falls asleep, blah, blah, blah. But there's another guy who's on time every day, who looks neat and never has a problem or a drink in his life, and everything sucks. Who are you keeping at hiring time?
I don't know because I've never been in that situation until now.
If you don't know the answer to that, Garrett, then you're a dumbass, stupid.
Thank you.
You keep the guy who writes sucky jokes.
Wait, don't name call because this is.
No, let him name call. This
no,
is how he feels.
There's a disconnect between because you have been in that position. You have the man standing next to you is late a lot, and he works for you, and you haven't fired him. Why?
We threatened to fire him,
but you haven't fired him.
It was very close.
But
Benji
why
will
did
tell
you keep him?
We gave him one more chance.
But why? You wouldn't give that same chance to somebody
well,
else.
that's any job. That would be the cashier.
That's
not
my
true.
point.
That's not true.
That's my point.
No,
well, which one am I listening
to?
to now?
because Benji writes funny stuff. That's why he's there.
Of course, because we like the work that he does.
Okay.
But he was getting to a point where his work was good, but not good enough to put up with what was going on, and it was close.
So let me get this
straight. Benji, just back me up. Was it close? Was that meeting?
No.
You were not afraid in that meeting?
No.
Are you being honest?
Yes.
Fire him, Gary.
It's not Gary's decision. It would be Howard's
exactly.
decision.
That's the other point.
Robert
It's not
Smigel-
Gary's decision.
Robert Smigel, who's like one of the greatest TV writers in history, now does occasionally TV Funhouse on SNL, which is like a 1 minute, 2 minute short film. He used to have to show up at 7 in the morning, stay till 4 in the morning. Now he's got the respect and the luxury. Now, I think the problem is he's not saying you to Lorne Michaels. He's saying, this is what I want to contribute. If you want it, that's fine. And
is he a full-time writer there, or did they just expect
He
him
was.
But is he now?
No, he gets to do what he wants because he's that good. And I'm not
But
saying that Artie gets to do what he wants. What I'm saying is that is the criteria for Howard keeping him. In the same way that the criteria for you keeping Benji are that he's providing something that you guys need.
No, but-
and whether or
but
not he
Greg-
does it late or early, it doesn't matter.
And honestly, listen, I don't get to do whatever I want because I'm not late all the time. I'm not absent all the time. We're focusing on stuff that's the minority of the time.
Yeah, but you're contradicting yourself, Artie. You do get to do what you want. You just said it. If Howard told you to stop doing this, you would stop. So you do get to do what you want.
No. You think if I came in late every single day of the week, or if I was really out 2 days a week, Howard wouldn't eventually get rid of me? I mean, I don't get to do what I want. I don't want to be here every day at 6, but I get my ass here 98% of the time every day at 6. That's disrespecting the show. And when I get here, I'm always ready, and I'm funny, and I'm honest, and I tell stories that are embarrassing, but I think they're funny. I do what I got to do. I do my job. You know, I used to go to the Tuesday meeting all the time. I don't do it anymore. Howard doesn't give a because it doesn't affect what I do on the air. I mean, you know, that's just how it is, man. I'm sorry if you feel like, I'm getting special privileges.
Nobody is knocking your ability on the air.
Exactly.
I don't think that's what's the question here. I think, Howard shows up for the beginning of the show and he leaves at the end of the show. He's the guy we all follow. Everybody else here does that. You, on occasion, haven't done that. And when Benji walks in 3 minutes late...
And Benji's not late all the time.
No, he's
either.
not. No, he's not.
And again, me and Benji are here over 90% of the time, on time, and we don't take days off 90% of the time.
And we don't do heroin.
You know, that's just how it is. You're making it sound, when you have these conversations, you're making it sound like I'm out half the year. That's not the case, man.
I didn't say you were out half the year.
Yeah, but that's what it sounds like to someone who's listening. It sounds like, okay, we don't care if Artie's out all the time or if he's late all the time. That's what you say. Well, sometimes you don't hear what you say.
Well,
because I'm a foul man.
Well, the other thing that you're up against...
You didn't. No, you're not a
I'm
dumbass
a big
guy.
old
You didn't
dumbass.
answer that question honestly. You didn't. You would fire the guy who writes the jokes. You know you would. You didn't want to answer it because you don't want to agree with me on it. You would keep the up who writes good because you got to go out there and say it. That's what makes the world go around. Babe Ruth, 4s all night. He hit 3 home runs when he was hungover. That's why they didn't fire him on the Yankees. Pat Kelly did that a couple of times.
All right, look, you're not Babe Ruth, so shut up.
I know, but I'm saying, but I'm using an analogy of like, whatever. To hear, for some reason, Howard thinks I'm good enough not to fire,
but
based on what I'm doing.
But I think what we're coming from is, Gary, there's two levels that you are not happy with Artie's lying, Artie's work ethic, or whatever. One is personal, as a friend, and part of that is concern that as much as you guys are angry, I know you love Artie and you care about him, and that you're concerned
I don't know
about...
the funny thing is, I'm not even sure that Artie knows that anymore.
No, he doesn't. Artie is not in a great place.
By the way, this is the first time you've ever said to me, and again, it's on the air, that you would truly think I've been disrespecting the show for the last 8 months. You never pulled me aside and said that. You said it now. I mean, you never pulled me aside and said that, Gar.
I don't know that it's my place. It's a feeling I have.
You're the producer of the show. Why would it be your place?
But you're right. At the end of the day, it's Howard's decision. So if I feel that way and he doesn't, then it's not my place to say it.
The point is just completely moot here, then, because
it is.
If you pull me aside and said, "All right, listen, I think you're disrespecting the show," that's what a friend does. You're saying it on the air now.
Would you change, or would you say, "Hey, Howard doesn't give a..."
I'll tell you what.
Howard doesn't care.
I'll tell you what. I would try to get it together. I really would, out of respect for you, but. If push came to shove and I woke up hungover one day or whatever, because it's not Howard saying it, I might go to the phone and say I'm not in, But if, and look, I'm enough of up to where I have lost jobs. I've made those decisions before. I'm very self-destructive. It's horrible. I wish I wasn't like that, but I am.
I think you guys are so different in your lives that, Gary, you take it personally that he's not doing this to be hostile. He's miserable. I mean, I've known Artie a long time. I could say, we talked about it backstage. I said it on the air. I'm going through a bad time. I'm not happy. I look at Artie. He does not. You haven't seen happy to me in a long time.
I haven't been happy in 20 years.
So he's not getting off on coming in late and being a. And I think
not
the part of you that's
party.
concerned about Artie, and we all are, is reacting to it. Quite honestly, almost like on intervention, when you see a family member, somebody who cares about someone with a disease, and they can't control it. But there's that guy. But then there's you as the boss on the job.
But at the end of the day, here's the thing that's really funny. I am not Artie's boss in any way, shape, or form. And Artie's called me that for years because at the end of the day, I can't fire Artie. I can't tell Artie what to do. I can't tell him where to be. It all comes from Howard. So I'm really not Artie's boss. I'm just a guy who produces the show, who can direct Artie. Hey, Artie, we're all going out to Vegas. Be there by this day.
And look,
I don't tell him what to do ever.
Here's the other thing.
Have I ever come to you and told you what to do?
Never, Gary. No,
because I don't have that power.
But in the beginning, you were the guy. The first guy, and I yearn for these times again because stuff has gotten so crazy in my life, professional and personal. But, the first couple of years I was on this show, when I first started doing the show, you were the guy who I talked to. You were the guy who called me and told me when I was going to be on. You were the guy I grew up listening to. I do have respect for you as a producer of the show. As years went by, you get familiar with something, and
it breeds contempt.
It breeds contempt, but I think contempt's a bad word here. I just think it breeds, for me, complacency, and I see how it operates now. Instead, I'm not just the fan or the comic who sits in every once in a while. I see how the place really operates, and I see, it really is all Howard's call. And look, there's been times in the past Howard sat me down and said, he did research. He found the shrink. He went out of his way to find the shrink for me, and that was 5 years ago. I still haven't called the shrink. So in a way, I'm not doing what Howard tells me to do either. Because Greg,
he didn't tell you what to do. He suggested.
Okay,
That's a big difference.
But still, when a guy like Howard, who you respect, suggests that, you might at least give the guy a call. I've never done that, and that's a little. He said he's been disrespected by that, but Greg brings up a point, and Will said this on the air too. He was mad at me, but you know what? He's 100% right. The bottom line is, I'm miserable. I'm miserable. I don't like being this miserable. I hate it. I'm not a happy guy, and there's people in my life that catch those effects from me not being happy personally. Women I've been involved with, especially recently, and in my work life, I'm miserable. I don't like that. That's true, but it's true.
What would make you happy, Artie?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I don't know. If I knew, I'd do it.
I mean, you're a huge success comedically. I assume you're doing very well financially.
In one area of my life, I'm successful. I've lived out a lot of dreams in show business, and I have a lot of money. I do. Good money for me. But that's one piece of life's puzzle. All of the rest are a complete mess. It's a mess. It's it's just a... it's just a mess, man. What can I tell you? Health, drug addiction, depression, loneliness, everything, maybe overstress, overwork. It's just how it is,
Greg, the other thing at the core of this with Gary that I think you're missing is that Gary really, really cares about Artie on a personal level.
I just said he loves him. Through all this anger, it's because he loves him.
And
when you know what, if you didn't like somebody as much as I like Artie, you couldn't piss me off the way you can.
Exactly.
Well,
why? And I feel the
so
same way about you.
What did I
pissing me off. Like if someone said, like the point I was trying to make before, if Ralph had said that on the air, I mean that's Ralph being Ralph. I don't care. But yesterday that ate away at my stomach when I heard that. Fat joke, Ben.
No, I mean, look, I've been sober for 20 years, minus a year and a half.
Bullshit,
when I turned
that's
40.
a lie.
When I turned 40. And I look at Artie, and I can relate to that he's running away and he's hiding, whether it's drugs or whether it's food or whatever, and there's nothing left. You're worn out. And
that's for sure. I'm burnt out.
You're burnt out. And you're showing up to a show every day, and you're working most weekends. And to truly recover and get sober, you need time to go do that. And until you do, you're not going to feel anything good.
Listen, man, you know how up it became? It has all become sup. When I was 24 years old, driving a cab and parking it outside the comic strip to run in and ask a guy to watch it to do a 20-minute set, do you know how much I would want of Kill to do a roast on Comedy Central? You know what I mean?
Right.
And last year I blew it off. I blew off a roast. I was on a phone with a guy telling me he'd send me a private jet to go roast a guy who's a friend of mine. What happened, man? What happened to the guy who was 24 who wanted that so bad? I don't know what happened. It's so depressing to me.
Well, I know what happened.
When I think about that, I get insanely depressed.
I think you got it. You got what you wanted. Are you beyond where you thought you'd be when you were the 24-year-old kid?
Everybody. I think Greg will attest to this. I mean, everybody. I think I wanted to be Jim Carrey by now.
Okay, but
of course. But look. If it ended tomorrow, I could put a spin on my career where, you know what, I made some noise and I'm very proud of it. I wouldn't be disappointed, but of course I thought I'd be like everybody else. I thought I'd be Adam Sandler or Jack Black or Jim Carrey or something. You know, I thought I'd be a movie star.
Hey, Art, beyond yesterday, what Gary said, what Will said, has something else been going on the last couple of days? Because you do seem like, has it been like some sort of hell?
There is something that happened in my personal life, yeah, that was a really bad thing to hear. It's
you want to exploit it?
Right, of course, right, exactly. Do I want to? You know what? No, part of me does want to say it out loud, but it's something it's really, even for me, a no-no.
Can I just ask this one question? Personal or professional?
Personal.
Okay.
Personal. So, because it would affect a couple other people. But really, and everything, no. But here's what I should have realized years ago is, every story I tell affects other people in my life. So, that hasn't been great that I've been so forthright, but, what are you going to do? The past is the past.
Well, I feel like, again, talking about addiction, you're stuck because once you become addicted to something, your self-esteem goes away and your ability to step back and say there's someone beneath the money and the gigs and the success that underneath there, this sounds corny, but underneath there, you used to know that there was somebody that was worth fighting for. And right now, you feel empty, and so the only thing that's keeping you going is this stuff that's actually working against you.
It's funny. You talk about, what we used to be and stuff. I bring this up to Greg all the time. The first time I ever met Greg, I was probably like 27 or 28, and we both did a weekend at the old Catch a Rising Star, the one that was on West 28th Street off 8th Avenue.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this because my family was there, and the lineup was Greg, myself, Jim Gaffigan, and
Ray Romano.
And Ray Romano, right. So I had done a year on Mad TV, and Ray Romano was saying to me, what's it like being on a TV show? Do you like it? I said, well, no, I hate L.A. because he had just shot his pilot. The pilot got picked up. And I said, do you like it? He goes, I remember him saying this. We all made about $500 that weekend, right? Yeah. And Romano needed the $500 bucks, and by this time he was already 40 and had been on the, stand-up circuit for a while. And I remember I was like 28 and I said to him, do you still like this after all these years? Like, are you psyched? He goes, well, I'm psyched that I'm getting something that might get me off the road. And I said, what do you think of this show? And he goes, I hate the name. He goes, the name I want to throw up over, but they love it. And I said, who else is on the show? And he said, Peter Boyle. And I can remember the one, because I had such a bad experience in L.A., I was trying to say something to cheer him up. And I said, Peter Boyle, man, that's I love Peter Boyle. He goes, yeah, he's funny. He goes, but I think I suck on it. And he thought he sucked on it. He thought the show sucked. He thought everything sucked,
Isn't that the nature of most comedians?
Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, now he's a billionaire, and I think if you, and I think if you talk to him now, he still thinks a lot of things suck. But at least, he's got kids, he's got a wife he can look at. I don't know. It's in our nature, maybe. I remember Greg felt the same way. Jim Gaffigan thought everything sucked. We were back there miserable. We were talking about Dave Attell today. Dave Attell's a miserable
guy,
person.
but a great guy. I would tell the story. When Jackie worked on the show, I could tell you every excuse for the day of the year why Jackie would tell me why that weekend show was going to suck. Okay,
yeah, right.
Memorial Day, everybody's going to picnics, nobody's going out. I'm fighting Thanksgiving traffic. Kids are back at school.
March Madness.
Every weekend. I'm in Syracuse and there's a big game. And Jackie would come back every weekend and be sold out. But he would tell me in advance every weekend why nobody was coming to the show.
Yeah.
Well, because your self-esteem is over-invested in what you do for a living, and it's like literally the definition of a persona is a mask. It's a person you present to the public because inside you hate that guy. And comedians become that as they get successful, they start internalizing this. We talked about you lying on the show. Well, are you projecting a character that's funny, or is this really you? And then when as a friend, Gary, you're seeing this projection, and then you're feeling somehow betrayed by him not really being that guy. But which is legitimate. I mean, if you care about somebody and they're telling you things that are ultimately, beneath your anger is your fear that Artie is something really bad will happen to him.
Of course.
More than the show.
Yeah, but, and another thing, think about how up you'd be psychologically, because this is most comedians. Most comedians like to pretend they hate everybody. They don't like anything. But inside, you crave people's acceptance more than anything. But why else would you get up there and do what you do? But on the outside, you're portraying and putting off like, I hate this, but you could look at a guy in an audience and say, I hate that, but you want him to laugh at you so much, and that creates such a conflict in your head. You don't know what the f you like anymore. And that and the stress of traveling and everything, I mean, you become a miserable bastard. And I always said I remember talking to Romano and saying, God, I hope I'm not that negative when I'm 40. Well, now I'm 41, and I've had some success, and I would beat him in any negativity contest.
𝗛𝗏, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, now?
Hi, Ralph.
A lot of love in the room. I just want to add to that. I lost my train of thought because now I'm just dying to hear what the thing Artie did a couple days ago that...
It's not something I did, Ralph. It was something it's news I got about something.
And
he's not going to deal with it.
He doesn't want to talk about it.
But it sounded like he almost was going to talk about it. No?
I was.
Come on, Artie.
Honestly, no, I was never even close to talking about it.
I won't.
You know what, Ralph? I'll call you tonight, and you can tell Howard. I think you guys are getting... Every time Howard has a new shirt on, I think he knows something else about me because he saw Ralph today.
Tuesday morning's usually a good time to... No, I tipped them off to something. No. And getting back to that thing, I explained that on the air with you and Gary in Iraq, that I was goofing around with Howard, and he went and said something on the air, and that was not true. What you know what I mean?
But you got in his head, Ralph. You did, and it affected
absolutely.
our friendship.
And I explained that on the wrap-up show to Gary, and I thought he sort of understood what I was saying, and you accepted that, Gary. I thought you understood that.
I may have understood it, but I can't get it out of my head, and
okay,
I'm not sure, and I'm not even sure that I blame you for that.
I'm sorry about that, and but Artie, is it really so hard for you to fathom why people don't take you at your word when, why do people have to sit and sort out with what's true and what's not with you? What might be drug related, what might not, what you might be saying to protect somebody, it's not. And my point was when you were telling that story on the air, and I think what everybody said and made the point, and Will made this point too, and he's right, maybe Artie's just making up a story for the air because it sounds good.
All right. Well,
and who cares?
If that's really how you feel, then how could you judge my life on any level by stuff I say on the air? If it's all just for comedy, then then you really would have to put that aside, which is hard to do. Put that aside as if it's a scripted sitcom or something, and then just base how you feel about me by everything I say to you off the air. That would be fantastic. But that doesn't happen on this show. It doesn't.
Right. You don't say that. You don't think there's a lot of gray area and confusion with what's real and what's not, just in general on the show?
Yes, there is, which is why. How could you? Again, I think there's a lot of gray with what goes on the show. So how could you make an opinion? How could you make a personal opinion based on anything?
I think the consensus is people aren't sure based on a lot of other things, like when you're seeking the truth and when you're not. And like even Greg says, there's, you're taking artistic license with a story maybe. Your job is to tell stories and to be interesting and funny on the air. And,
right.
If you didn't have that cup of pee in your closet, if you did or whatever, I just said it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's a funny story.
Right.
Well, I think that, this is the longest-running reality show in history.
Well,
and the
supposed
cameras are never
show,
off.
that's the point.
No, but I watched American Idol last night, which I haven't seen in years, and these chicks are fighting and screaming and crying, and I thought, people don't act like that. This show raises the stakes. I think you've talked about it. There's times where you might be experiencing something, you might actually push the envelope just to see if it becomes a story on the radio. I mean, It spills over both directions.
And Howard, and I'm not judging him on any level for this because he's a showman before anything, but, Howard encourages that behavior from all of us. When John used to come in and rat on people, Howard loved it. He's not going to get mad at John the way the guy was who he ratted on is. So, look, it's a great I think it's like a great human experiment here. And
Howard completely encourages all that. Sal running into the mall and making an announcement.
The best example of that was after you guys had this fight this morning. You saw that smile on Howard's face.
Of course, and he loved it. And he says he loves it. But on any other team, listen, Howard. The brilliance of what Howard did here is he's created a show where even rejected bits that he hates could become funny within the context of the show. Like if Sal pitched something comparable to the Nick Gers thing at a meeting at the Tonight Show or at Saturday Night Live or wherever, they go, no, we're not doing this, and it would never see the light of day. Howard's created a situation where it can see the light of day by Howard goofing on it and all of us goofing on it. So Sal then goes in his head, look, I should do something like that again because it was just an hour of funny. And that's how he thinks. And when he has to make that judgment again, he's going to go for it because Howard, it's rare that Howard rejects something because Howard's going, look, this is all interesting. It might be interesting for the audience to hear why I rejected this. So I'll play it and get their opinion. And that's a rare thing. That doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, and you're completely right about there's a lot of misdirected anger that goes on around that show. And if you're Gary, if you're mad at Artie for disrespecting the show, that's on Howard, not on Artie.
That's my point.
Howard lets him do whatever Artie's going to do. What Artie's going to do. Look, Artie can attack people and get away with it.
And we all, thank you. Yeah. And we're all hypocrites on this level. Where if and I put myself in this category. If we're mad at somebody for something that Howard clearly does himself, we won't yell at Howard about it. We'll yell at the other person about it because that's it. That's just how it is. That was the point I was trying to make with me spilling the 𝗙C that, there's times where you've been mad that you're picking up Howard's toothpicks, and you could have easily said that to him, but you're not, because, we all do the same thing. And that misdirected anger, I think, creates a lot of frustration. And then when there's someone you feel it's all right to yell at that isn't Howard, you just go crazy, because we get nuts. I don't know.
It's almost like the banking crisis now where these CEOs are still taking $100 million bonuses. Meanwhile, they drove the company to the ground. And it's a little, not that you're driving this company to the ground. It's actually good entertainment.
Somebody is.
Let me check my stock price.
It ain't me.
By Gary's definition and by anybody's definition, you're not, certainly there's not many jobs where you can admit to having drug use and whatever and keep your job.
Right. Let me give you an example of what I just said, that we're all hypocrites. And this was me yesterday. Yesterday, and I might get shit from Howard about this, but I'm just going to say it because it's a great example of what I was just saying, and I'm at fault with it. When he was saying, who do we have in, and he said, David Brenner.
Yes.
And Brenner's going, for years, David Brenner lied about his age, and we're all going, we all knew you were lying about your age. Gary's caps. Gary said, who told you I wear caps? Gary, everyone knows you wear caps. I felt like saying before Brenner came in, look, who didn't know Howard got a nose job? That's the most obvious nose job in the history. Do you ever look at his schnoz on some of those Channel 9 shows? There's a hook in the
John Hein masturbates.
Listen, as a fan, okay? As a fan, when I came in here and met Howard, I'm like, my God, that's a a nose job. I mean,
wonderful nose job.
I can remember being at Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza. I was 2 feet from the guy. His nose was extraordinary. You could have caught fish with the thing. And and look, he's a guy who, like all of us, has some vanity. He got some money. And it's a great nose job. His nose, he looks like a 𝗪𝗕𝗄, for Christ's sake. But I felt like saying that, and I think that would have been funny to say, but I didn't have the balls to say it. I thought he'd get mad at me, and I didn't say it there, but I said it here, and we'll play it Monday.
And Garrett, based on what Artie just said, when you guys think Artie lies about the drugs, and then you extrapolate it to Artie lies about everything, when Howard kept that quiet.
No, that's not what we said, or Gary
this
said.
This is what happens, Benji. That's not what anybody said.
Yeah.
Nobody said Artie lies about everything. They said we're not sure what to believe, which is a huge difference.
You said You said yesterday Artie has no credibility.
No, but no. What happened
said he has
was
low
what happened was.
credibility.
This is a situation where Gary might have not realized. We just replayed it, and Gary said that exact thing.
I did, and it's not what I meant. What I meant was I didn't mean that Artie lies about everything.
And that's what I got
meant.
mad at.
But what I do mean is that everything that Artie says could be questioned.
Right,
but
which is
what I
different
just
than
said,
the-
when
you're lying
Artie
about
brought
it.
up about the nose thing, Howard lied about that for years. Does that make you question everything he said?
I know. You know what? That's an excellent point. Howard told us all. I've never had plastic surgery.
This goes back to your example.
And Robin was the best because when the revelations came out, she was like, "Your revelation is not that you had a nose," because she knew. Of course, she knew.
It's not just one lie. If Howard lied about the nose job and that was the end of it, that's one thing. If you then
You don't
ask
think he lies
Howard,
about anything else?
Howard, did you get your face pulled back? And he said no repeatedly for 3 months, and then he comes out, you know what, I did
He
get my
said
face
no
pulled back.
repeatedly for 7 years.
About what?
His plastic surgery.
What nose job? That's what we're talking about. I'm
Yeah,
talking
but
about
every time he came up,
got the
anything
shoe
in
shave
that
and
area.
Yeah,
I will
for
never
7
get
years.
married.
For 7
I
years.
will never get
Well, that
married.
wasn't a lie. That
Well,
was
that wasn't a lie.
yeah,
That was-
you can't throw
That's
that
life.
on.
But for 7 years, he told a direct lie. Why? Because it would have affected him in a negative way. You know how many phone callers in the 4 years I was at regular radio called and said, "You've had plastic surgery," and he went, "No." That's a lie. That's a lie that's helping yourself. You know?
Artie, when he got that, my mom saw him on TV. My mom calls me, goes, "Howard got a nose job." That like a week later, I go, "No, I don't know what you're talking about."
And I'm glad he did. He looks. You know what? He looks good. Howard has a look now that he developed. But quite frankly, of course, I need work. I need a few chins taken off.
All right, well, now, if there's a consensus then that there is artistic license on this show and that everybody
Howard
lies
lying
to some
about his
degree.
nose job is not
All right,
artistic license.
But I mean, look, Lucy.
That's a lie.
Lucy pretends to have a mustache so she can be in the show. It's comedy. People lie. It becomes funny.
Lucy didn't have a real mustache.
No. The thing is, she wanted to. No,
Lucille
the point is then, Gary, you have to look at this. You look at your anger then and say, okay, what are the options for this anger then? It's not that, it's not that Artie is up the show in your eyes. It's not that he's not working as hard as you, which leaves the options of you care about him a lot and you're so worried that you're actually getting angry because you can't control it, or you feel like it's bad for the radio show.
No, it's not bad for the radio.
Right,
So then
that's
it's what you care about.
Not bad for the
where
radio.
you're conflicted about it. You're like, do I let this guy who I really think is falling apart keep doing this because it's good for the show, or do I personally go and say, look, you got to go to rehab, which may not be as entertaining, but personally helps him. So that's got to be something you battle in your head all the time.
I'll tell you right up front, and Howard will back me up on this. A year ago, if I were the one making the decision, I would have made you go to rehab. Right. And Howard has even said, when Howard says that I've had those conversations with him, they're not like Artie. They're like, I'm worried about Artie.
Gary, I never thought they were like Artie.
No, but
I know that, man.
But
I know.
I've had probably a half a dozen times in the last year, I go, dude, I am really worried about Artie. I think he's in a bad place, and maybe we should do something. Howard's like, do what? He comes to work when he's supposed to come to work. Why is it my place to tell him what to do?
And you've never been angry at Artie that he's missed work. I mean, you've been concerned about it, and we speculated on the show, but there's no anger like, oh, he's at work, we're at work, and he's not. No,
I know what you're saying, but I know. But what he said before, he said that you feel I disrespected the show. That to me indicates a little hostility. And look, you should have it. I'm not saying you're wrong for that.
Ralph, hold on. Mark in North Carolina, you're on the wrap-up show. Mark, are you there?
Yes. Good morning, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Good morning.
Hey, first off, everyone loves Artie. I love you, Artie. Big thing for me, two things I noticed from a fan's perspective. Number one, when Artie gets really mad with anybody, with Teddy, and today with Gary, he brought up the money situation. And when Artie really gets that boiling point before he throws something, it tends to be about money. And I think, obviously, when Artie first got on board, he didn't think he should make as much as Gary. But after all these years and all his success, there still seems to be something he pokes fun at with Gary. I don't think it's a situation where he's going after Achilles' heel, like with the whole Afghanistan trip. I think there is some truth to that. And secondly, for Gary, my only thing with Artie missing time, I believe it's with Howard as well. It's on Howard, but why don't we have someone to fill in whenever he's out? And I'll listen to that. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your call, then.
Well, I'll answer the back end of it. I think that when Artie's out, I don't think Howard feels a need to fill the spot. I think it's just like when Artie's here, he's here, and when he's not, he's not. And it's also not like I have a guy who lives around the corner that I'll call when Artie says he's not coming in.
The show was #1 and the greatest show ever when I grew up, and no one talked but Howard and Robin 90% of the time. The show would be fine, but it's not my decision. You could have any, people could sit in there. And does that worry me? Yeah, it might worry me a little bit, but I don't think. You see, you got to realize if Howard's having some stranger in there, and I get what he's talking about, he's got to. He's going to feel the necessity to interview that person, to pay attention to them, to learn about them, and he doesn't want to do that. That takes away from the show. It's annoying, I would assume.
And Artie, do you always go to the money before throwing something? Was that caller right in speculating on that?
The one time that I've thrown something, or the 2 times, did I go to money right before I threw something at Sal? No. Well, he's 50-50.
But that was a weird shot you took at me this morning.
Yeah. Well, look,
because then I don't. Here's the funny thing, Artie. I swear on the life of my children, I don't know how much money you make. I don't know the answer.
But I know how much you make because of a mistake here.
But I don't know that you know that. I know you think you know.
Let's write down how much we make.
Yeah.
It's a mistake. How much Gary makes?
I make $50,000 less than you a year. So now you know.
But I don't know that. I know that you just said that.
I did the math because I know what you make.
And this isn't drug related, so you
I
can
make
believe
$50,000 less a year.
I genuinely don't know the answer.
Although I was on drugs looking at your chest. All right, I got to get out of here. I got to go see the book.
Well, I mean, the money thing always comes up. Like, I've been to therapy.
But it's not an issue
a few
for
times.
me, but apparently
I'm saying
if
for
I make
Artie,
more than Artie, then it shouldn't be.
If his identity is, like I said, so much in your career, that money represents everything you've given up. Happiness, personal life, relationships. So when it gets with, it's a lightning rod.
Listen, I've said this before. If I could make the money I make on the road, I might be about money here. But you know what? The fact of the matter is, I choose to do the road a lot and take that schedule because honestly, out of respect for Howard, I don't want to be that guy.
Could you make the money on the road that you make if you weren't here?
No, absolutely not.
Or could you have gotten the book deal if you weren't here?
No,
I mean,
way.
you could have gotten the book deal.
Look, that's not what I just said. That's not what I just said.
No, but I'm saying that you make money here, but also
no way,
because
nothing.
You're here.
Listen. I think it's even worse than that. I'd be driving a cab if it wasn't for this show again.
No, you wouldn't be driving a cab.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that the fact of the matter is, I do have to fly to St. Louis one weekend, and I do that because
But define have to. Do you have to?
Gary, okay, would you do what I do if it meant quadrupling your paycheck? Quadrupling your paycheck.
I would, but if I got to the point,
so that's what I mean.
If I got to the point where it was making me miserable, which it clearly does make you miserable,
I'd be miserable without it.
I might rethink it.
I might as well be miserable. I might as well be miserable in Phoenix.
I'll give you a perfect example. I could.
Look at that nose job.
Oh, no. He's got to get in.
Howard's outside the window right now looking at us. You know what it's like? It's like a kid with an ant farm and just watching his ants fighting.
All right. Artie, can I just say one thing?
He wasn't listening to this, was he?
No.
I'm going to deal with that Monday. I'll be fired Monday.
If I wanted to, I could continue to do personal appearances and probably make more than I did when I was at K-Rock.
Yeah, but
I would rather
quadruple your... No. I'm talking about,
serious money.
I mean, God, we're talking life-changing money. That's why I feel I have to.
Right, but the flip side of it is what's also changing your life is how much it bothers you.
All right, but what if I know I'd be miserable anyway sitting at home?
Then you should just go and do the
Well, that's the thing. That's the problem. I'm miserable. I can't. Sirius owes me some money here. That's what I'm saying.
Do you feel any better after that conversation, Gary?
I feel physically exhausted, and I felt that way after this morning. It's physically exhausting, even though it's only words. I don't know. I mean, Artie and I came to sort of, I guess, an uneasy truce. But if Artie wasn't here, I would have come in and I would have said, is Artie to me? Well, of course not. I'm going to deal with Artie all the time. But I don't know that we fully made up. Howard said we made up this morning. What I hope will happen is we'll just, try to start over again.
You looked like you were seriously. I know you looked like you were about to cry. Like
no, I wasn't about to cry. No.
About to kill you.
Well,
yeah, right.
Well, what's left unresolved to you? In what way can you make this right?
I think that what we finally came to here is that we both agree to disagree. He says not telling the truth because he's protecting himself. I should understand all the levels of it. I'm saying I shouldn't. We sort of come to that agreement now, and I now will look at things in a different way when we talk.
And you won't be calling him a liar on the wrap-up show again.
No, not unless he's here.
All right, we don't have a lot of time, so I want to get a couple calls in real quick. Tim in Pennsylvania, real quick. You're on the wrap-up show.
Yeah, hey, guys. It seems to me, just listening to all this back and forth between Gary and Artie over the past months and whatever, that Gary just seems so jealous of the leniency that Artie gets because Gary's just been under Howard's boot for so long and he never got cut a break.
That's not true. I'm not jealous of the leniency. There's just the rules have always been the same for everyone here, more or less, until Artie, when it comes to the whole be at work, be on time thing.
Leonard in Texas, you're on the wrap-up show.
Well, good morning, guys.
Hey, Leonard.
I got an answer to Artie's riddle. So, Gary, the answer you should have given him when he was saying, who do you fire, the one that's a bad writer or the one that has bad attendance? The answer is you fire both based on performance issues, and you hire somebody that is a good writer and dependable. It's hard to do that with a word manipulator like Artie. That's an addict's trait. But that's the answer. You fire them both.
Yeah, it's not always that easy, and sometimes you do put up with bad behavior for a period of time if it's getting you what you need.
John in L.A., you've got the last call on the wrap-up show.
Yeah, I just want to say it was pretty Gary was warning Howard that Artie would turn on him. It just wasn't right for him to, say that. I think, Gary, you're just a big lip, giant tooth, smelly ape man. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Movie collection.
Ronnie corners me with business questions now.
Oh yeah.
Used to be Ronnie was my driver, and I'm coming up in the elevator today, and he's like, "Hey man," he goes, these people who run the Ronnie block party?" I go, "No, I don't know any of them." He starts naming people like I'm supposed to know them.
Right now, you're supposed to remember these names.
Yeah, it's Ronnie's business venture. He goes, "I'm just checking." The guy bought. When he explains business, is crazy. He goes, "The guy bought a Long Island theater," which means he rented the theater for one of their shows.
Okay,
but he goes,
I don't know.
The guy bought a Long Island theater, and he wants to show the movie Private Parts before the block party. Is that okay?
Oh.
And I'm like, I go, Ronnie, I don't own the movie Private Parts. Somebody wants to show it.
Paramount.
Yeah, that's Paramount's deal. I go, but the real answer is I fucking can't stand that block party, Ronnie's block party. I hate it. It's turned into my nightmare.
Yeah! We're here! Woo!
I don't give a shit about it.
Well, why don't you tell him that? Leave me alone.
Yeah,
Leave me alone, damn it.
Yeah, I just want to say, Ronnie, never ever be smart. Never bring up the block party to me. I fucking here. You want to know what I want? I want you to get rid of it. I want it to go away.
Don't ever say block party to me.
Yeah. When they're having some cruise with Beetlejuice, it's like anyone they can find off the show, and then it's like there's a whole little ancillary business. Letterman's people don't do that.
No, there's no Letterman traveling circus.
Yeah, there's no. The Daily Show doesn't have a traveling circus. Only I have that, and really, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want. Don't ask me business questions in the morning when I'm coming up in the elevator.
What's wrong? What did I do
Don't
now?
mention the block party to me.
Why? What did I do?
What's wrong?
I mean, with that whole private parts and showing the movie before the block party, I don't give a fuck about them. I want the block party to die and go away. So every time you bring,
but that's not true.
What's
What?
not true?
I was watching. What was I watching last night? I was just talking to Lieberman about the pace car thing.
Yeah.
And you were on there,
right,
making comments.
Right.
And do you remember your comment?
What was it?
How you make people from around you.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice. So do me a favor. Don't bring up that block party to me.
All right.
Especially in the morning. I hate it.
I asked you. I'm trying to do the right thing and ask permission and not fuck up. I don't want to fuck up.
Talk to Gary about it.
Why would I talk to Gary about it?
Because I don't
You're
want to
not
be
He's not
no.
Gary's not
Gary's
you.
the executive producer of the show.
Yeah,
don't
but
talk to me. Listen, Ronnie, listen carefully.
I am
Don't
listening
talk
carefully.
to me about your block party business. If you got business with the limo, that's what you are to me. You're my limo driver.
Understood.
And you're security. Do you want to talk about that shit with me? Fine. You want to talk about your fucking block party business? Talk to Gary.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I want to hear about it. It fucking makes me want to throw up.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
You know he doesn't understand anyway.
I understand.
I love how he says I'm listening while you're talking.
She always waits till I walk out. When I say something, go ahead. What'd you say?
Do you think that I could show the block party at the block party?
No, not me.
You think we could show the? Who is it then? I don't know this fucking guy you're in business with.
The guy asked me. The guy
in other words, the guy
asked me a simple question.
Yeah, the guy's got a direct pipeline to me through you. This is some fucking guy I never would pick up the phone on, and now I got to deal with him.
You're not dealing with him.
Yes, I am.
It's a simple thing.
I had to deal with you this morning, so this guy has a direct fucking pipeline to me through you.
It's a simple. It's a simple thing.
It's simple for you.
It's a yes or no answer. It was no big deal, I thought.
I don't like.
Then every answer is no.
Yeah,
Don't
how about
bring
that?
it
From now on, everything is no.
Okay.
That's all my answer.
All right.
Think of another question, and it's no. Okay, you got another question? So now, whatever question you ask me, it's no.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like, in other words, do you think it's okay if this guy that I'm doing business with sells Howard dolls at the block party?
Who said that?
Nobody's saying anything.
I'm not talking to you.
What's the answer?
He's making an example.
I don't give a fuck about the block. I hate the block party. Now you know. I hate it. I hate that commercial you shot for your stupid fucking cruise. I hate
It's not a cruise.
Whatever it is. I hate that. I hate that all the people.
That was
Beetlejuice is. I hate all that. No other show has that. I don't want that.
Well, that's not what you said.
I know. So I'm being a nice guy. So don't fucking bring up any more business.
All right.
So that this guy, whoever this guy is, has access to me. Talk to Gary.
He doesn't have access to you.
Yes, he does. Through you. He goes, Ronnie, ask Howard.
No, that was my idea. Ask Howard because I don't want to make any mistakes.
You have an idea. Talk to Gary.
Okay.
Gary is going to be your.
That wasn't his idea at all. That was my idea.
Yeah. When you have an idea, as soon as you have.
It was my idea to run it by.
No. Whenever you have an idea, go to Gary. That's all I'm saying.
It wasn't my idea.
No. When you have an idea to come to me,
okay,
just say substitute Gary from me.
And then Gary's going to come to you and ask you.
Whatever. I feel
What's
more
the
comfortable.
difference?
Oh, it's a big difference.
Ronnie, can I help you out on this? The difference is he doesn't have to deal with it. I understand what he wants. I'm the buffer.
Okay.
That way
He's the guy who's going to tell you no.
He can give a true answer and not have to be embarrassed.
Here's what's going to happen. You're going to say to Gary, is it okay? Ask Howard if it's okay about the Private Parts movie. Ron, then Gary,
should I ask him now?
No, not in front of me. Then Gary comes to me.
I already asked you, and you said it's okay.
No, listen to me for once, and you'll learn how things work around here because you haven't figured it out.
Okay.
Gary and I will sit alone in a room, and I'll say to Gary, listen, I hate the fucking block party. Go to Ronnie and say, you're not even going to ask me, and just tell him no. It's not a good idea. That's how we do it. Gary pretends that he didn't ask me, and then when they say no, and then I'll go, hey, and then you'll say to me,
Gary will be the bad
and then, of course,
guy.
you won't be able to take that answer, and you'll come to me directly. I'll go, oh, gee, Gary didn't even tell me. Okay? That's what's going on, Ronnie. Ronnie, I hate the block party. I hate it. I'm putting up with it for some bizarre reason because I'm too fucking nice. But don't come to me with business questions about some fucking guy who's got an idea about showing Private Parts. I don't care about this guy. You know, when I was working 24 hours a day on that movie and writing it, writing the book and Len Bloom and all that, I wasn't dreaming one day it would be shown at Ronnie's block party.
What's wrong with that? It's for the fans.
I hate it. Don't worry about the fans. I'll worry about the fans. When did I put you in charge of the fans?
You didn't put me in charge. I asked a simple question, for God's sakes. I asked a simple question.
How about selling my books there, too? Maybe you could do that.
He's gonna
give them to me. I'll sell them for you.
That's a great idea. That won't embarrass me at all.
It's a movie. It's a movie theater with
Ronnie,
a movie.
Just ask Gary.
I already asked you. You said it was
I said okay.
All
What
right.
am I going to say?
Oh, my goodness.
I don't want to deal with it.
Did you?
I did, because I fucking can't say to people's faces. And he fucking knows that, too.
Oh, bull crap. You've told me no to things.
What did I tell you no to?
I don't remember, but
Of course
you
not,
told me
'cause I don't
no
tell
to
you
things.
no.
No, you've told me no to things.
Name one.
I can't remember
Because
right
I
now.
never have.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
What is it? Name it.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't
You're saying I said no to things, but you
Yeah,
don't
I
remember.
know you've said no
Name
to
one
things
of
to
them.
me.
Name one. Because there isn't one, Ronnie. Get out of here.
All right.
Now, how is this guy going to show the movie, Howard?
I don't know. Robin.
He's not going to go to Paramount and get
Please.
a print. He's going to get a DVD.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's gonna be like watching on a DVD what you could do at home. It's not even gonna have a copy of the film.
I don't know what he's going to have. Maybe he is going to have a copy of the film.
So you don't have any problem asking me that question.
Well,
first
before
thing in
I
the morning
say-
when I'm trying to read the fucking paper.
Before I find out that. No, we were in the elevator.
So what
I
do you
didn't
think I
bother
do
you
in
in
the
the.
elevator?
I didn't. You weren't reading the paper in the elevator.
That's exactly what I was doing.
No, you weren't. You were talking to me.
No, I was reading the paper, and then you started talking to me.
Oh, so full of shit, man. We were walking up the fucking.
Okay. So that's what you do. That's time for Ronnie's business hour.
There's no business hour. I asked
Leave
a
me
simple
alone.
question.
All I want to talk about is where the car is going to be, and when you're doing security. That's it. I've given you a great life.
I know.
And
I
you're
didn't
gonna
say.
sit
What
there
am I
and
saying?
Hey, you think we could show the movie Private Parts before the block party? I hate the fucking block party.
And
I
just
hate it.
imagine, you're going to sit 2 hours of a movie, then the block party? Why do these people have to be tied up all day?
Instead of going to a block party, why don't you just drive me? Ah, there's a fucking concept.
I do this when I'm not driving.
Yeah. Well, you could be spending more hours driving me.
I
Instead
don't
of
want to
doing
drive.
You don't want to drive? Oh, you want to be on stage yelling.
Yeah.
Representing the Howard Stern show. I'd rather have you drive me. That's what I'm paying you for, not to fucking go out. I didn't ask you to be the representative.
I didn't ask you. I never said I was the representative.
Right, so please don't bother me about movies. Be smart and keep quiet. What are you talking about? Go to Gary. And then I'll tell you no through Gary. Why would I go to Gary? Because
all right,
I don't
all right,
like. Do
all
you,
right.
do you understand? I don't want to answer you
All
directly.
right, all
It's
right.
hard
I
for me.
got you. I got you.
You're a guy I know over 30 years. I don't feel comfortable saying no to your face. I'm telling you that.
Okay.
I'd rather Gary do it.
Why?
Because I don't feel like being direct with you about your business.
You can be
ventures.
direct with me.
I don't feel
You
comfortable.
can say no.
I don't feel comfortable saying no. I'd rather do
Why?
it through Gary.
What's your problem?
I have a problem.
Okay.
Okay. So now you know.
Okay. Gotcha.
So don't piss on me and
I'm
fucking
not
ask me
pissing
questions.
on you. I don't mind pissing on you.
By asking me correct
If I
questions.
pissed on you, I would just
Here's
go
my
ahead
answer.
and do it.
My answer is no.
Without
to
even
everything.
saying anything.
My answer is no to everything.
Okay.
Okay. Now you know the
Not
answer.
to this, though. You already said yes.
Yeah, go have fun showing my fucking movie. Why don't you show the Ronnie
What's
movie?
wrong with that?
Show
What's
the
wrong with
fucking
showing
Ronnie.
your movie?
I don't want anything to do with you guys and your fucking block party. I hate it. It's an embarrassment to me.
So tell us to shut it down.
I told you I didn't feel comfortable doing it.
Well, then tell Gary
You
to tell us to
down.
shut it down.
All right. Well, maybe I'll do that then.
All right.
If you're smart, you don't bring anything up. Just go out and do your block party. You don't tell me about it. Yeah. You
No,
know?
you'd rather find out after it's done and I've done it and didn't ask you about it.
No.
And then you'll really
Use
be
your
mad.
head. What do you have to show the movie Private Parts for? What is that? You're not having enough success? Why does my movie
It was
have
just
to be
an idea that somebody came up with, and all you had to do was
now
say no.
Somebody has worked their way into my life through you. I don't know this fucking guy. Who is this fuck?
It's a guy who's a promoter who's buying the
I
show.
don't care. I don't want this guy in my life through you. I shouldn't even know about this
All right,
guy.
so we won't do it then.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay.
We
Why
won't-
don't you show your home movies? You ever make home movies?
No.
Well, make a home movie and show it to your fucking audience. Why you got to show me over there?
They show it on TV. I don't understand what the big deal is.
Do whatever you want. Then why'd you ask me about it? If it's
Because
not a big deal?
I feel it's the right thing to do.
Then don't bother me with it. Go to Gary. I told you that.
Can't win here.
Why don't you play tapes of the show too? With there.
Play tapes of the show. What are you
Well, what's the difference?
talking
What's the
about?
difference
What
in the
am I
movie?
talking talking about?
Well, why don't you do that?
Showing tapes.
Why don't you show tapes of the show? Show Ronnie movies. Make a movie and show it.
No, but then you'll be
stopping
mad about that too.
I'm not mad about that.
Yeah, you would.
Go make a movie.
No, you'd be mad.
Go make a porn.
Oh,
Do whatever you want.
Make a porn.
Yeah, do what you want. Don't involve me. My movie.
Who's involving you? It's a movie that they play everywhere.
I come up in the fucking elevator. I'm dealing with. There's a promoter out there who bought the fucking.
He didn't buy anything yet. I'm just saying.
He bought a theater in Long Island.
It was an idea.
Idea.
Man. Are you guys finished?
What do you want from me? This is what I
don't
deal
want
with.
it. I don't want anything.
Leave me alone, Ronnie. I'm in the middle of this stuff. Come on. I'm doing a show. Get out of here, please.
You're the one who called me in.
I didn't call you in. Go back and listen to the tape. You walked in on your own. I didn't ask for you.
They told me to come in.
Well, don't listen to them. I'll tell you when to come in. Never.
Ron.
What?
We talk for a moment.
What? What?
Have you lost sight of your role here?
No. Go away. Lost sight of my role here.
Ronnie?
Yeah.
Are you reading between the lines that Howard doesn't want to be bothered with things on the periphery?
I don't need you to explain it. I just got to... Somebody just explained it to me, okay? I don't need you to explain it to me.
How will you navigate?
I don't need you to explain it to me.
Well, how will you...
I don't need you to explain it to me.
Question. How will you navigate, going forward, how will you navigate what you can
I'll set
say
my
to Howard?
GPS. That's how I'll navigate, okay?
How do you know?
That's why I have a GPS.
How do you know what
I'll
to say
navigate.
to Howard?
I'll set my GPS to Howard, okay?
Will you be sending everything through Gary now when you just want to say good morning to Howard or something very simple?
What?
How will you...
Don't worry about it. That's not your concern.
As a backup to private
I'll
parts...
set my GPS to navigate, okay?
As a backup to showing private parts, what will you show in lieu of that? Maybe a Cher concert, something more personal to you?
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, because you obviously can't be showing private
Who
parts.
said that? He said it was okay.
Well, I got the sense that he doesn't want that to happen. And Ronnie, one more thing. Do you think the block party's gone too far? Do Howard's words echo in your mind that maybe perhaps you're using his name to generate
Who's
profit?
using his name?
Well, the promoter that was discussed, the whole concept of the block party. Howard seems to think you're commercializing his name without really his blessing.
You don't know what you're talking about. You're making up shit in your head right now.
I think I'm reading between some lines here.
Yeah, okay. Well, read between the lines of your camera.
Ronnie, I couldn't help but overhear.
You're such a douchebag with this camera. I swear to God, I can't stand it.
I couldn't help but overhear, Ron, that you're thinking about canceling every block party for the remainder of 2013.
And if I do, is that your business?
No, but I think it's a major part to this morning's show and the storyline that's going on right now. Do you feel like you're making a rash decision here? Are you reacting? Are you being too reactionary again? Are you automatically assuming that...
stop it with your stupid
I'm saying, like, does it
camera.
Mean, just because Howard's mad today, does it mean you have to cancel every single block
Well,
party?
maybe if the, you know, like I said, I know the guy for almost 30 years. I can get a fucking straight answer if I ask him a question.
Are you insulted?
Do I have to go to Gary? You know, after all these years, I have to go to Gary and ask him?
So clearly you're insulted by this new mandate.
Yeah, I'm insulted.
You think 30 years of loyalty might have earned you the right to have a personal
this guy about
conversation.
shit that you wouldn't believe we talk about, okay? I thought I could go to him and ask a fucking question. I guess I can't.
But Trump called me yesterday and he goes, I heard Cuban was okay. It was okay to me. It wasn't that bad. What did he say about me? What did he say? You know,
he heard all of it.
I got to think so. I said, listen, Mr. Trump. I think he was very nice. I know he did say that you had sent him a letter. I did. I sent him a letter, and I said, I think he said it's hanging up next to his NBA trophy. Good, very good, very good. You know, he's obsessed.
Yeah, he didn't let anything go. Donald Trump is on the phone.
Donald Trump is on the phone again?
That's right. And
we haven't talked to him in years, and now it's once a week.
Mr. Trump fights back too, you know.
What's going on?
Donald.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Very unimportant, actually, but
very important in your world.
You have such an audience, Howard, and everybody told me that Mark Cuban was on, and he said wonderful things about my family and
he did
myself, and it was all nice. But he did say one thing that we should at least correct the record. Right?
Go ahead.
Okay.
He said that his show, whatever the hell it's called,
Shark Tank.
Really not his show. He's one of 4 or 5 people on the show. You know,
right.
Difference, right?
Right.
As opposed to the superstar that's known as Trump, total superstar.
Well, you make a point.
They actually called me the king of all media yesterday, and I said, no, somebody wrote an article that I'm the king of all media, and I actually wanted a retraction. I said, there's only one king of all media, right? But
no,
anyway.
but you make a point. Your show, The Apprentice. Well, let's back up. Mark Cuban was on the other day. He was talking. We were talking about years ago. He had a show that was very similar to The Apprentice,
called The Benefactor.
The Benefactor,
which was really a knockoff of The Apprentice.
And you got on the
air. There were 16 of them, by the way, so he shouldn't feel bad because we had 16 knockoffs. We had one the other day that died. It was called The Job. It was on CBS. And it died after two shows, and
which I know pleases you because
I love it.
Your show was the original one.
Right. I love it, Howard.
And you love when the original. So Mark Cuban was trying to be a show like yours, and you even said on the air to me, his show won't work. You know, and it sounded like sour grapes, blah blah blah. But meanwhile, you were right. The show went off the air.
Well, Mark did something that was a little bit rough because he went out, and, you know, I've gotten along with Mark over the last year or so, but he went out with his show, The Benefactor, and he really went after me. You know, instead of saying, hey, and I spoke to him before the show went out, and he was totally nice. But, you know, some idiot told him to go and attack Trump, and this way you'll get publicity for The Benefactor. So he went after me. Naturally, of course, I go then after him.
What did he say at the time?
I don't know. You know, my show's going to be better, it's going to be bigger, it's going to be this and that. You know, in the meantime, I had like the number one show on television.
And you felt like you had your back up against the wall and you had to defend yourself.
I had to defend myself.
Right. So
I've watched you do that all your life. I've been watching you a long time.
Yes. And
so
for
anyway,
years go by, Mark Cuban does get on Shark Tank. Shark Tank is, as you say, an ensemble cast. It is not his show.
Well, don't go so fast. So the benefactor goes on, and it's a total bomb. And I wrote Mark a very nasty letter. It was really nasty, and it was terrible. And then I heard he has that letter framed. I mean, it was a terrible letter.
He says the letter is framed on his desk.
It was an all-time classic Trump letter.
What did you write? Do you recall?
I don't know. Just terrible.
What did you say?
Terrible. I can't imagine. I wouldn't have saved it. I would have tried to. I would have burned it.
You know why he saved it? I know.
It's motivation. I think that's cool.
Yes, it's a motivator.
No, I think that's cool. I mean, I was surprised that he did it, but I heard about it. I thought it was very cool. Anyway, we've gotten along very well over the last year or so, and the benefactor goes off, and then all of a sudden Shark Tank comes on. So Shark Tank goes on during the week, which is much more important than a Friday night, and it totally bombs. So they think they're going to terminate Shark Tank, and what they do is they put it on Friday night as a little bit of a filler. You know, Friday night is called Death Valley.
I see.
Well, you know that. I mean, you have a show on Friday night. It's not a good thing.
Right.
And it did okay for Friday night. Actually did better on Friday night than it did during the week, because during the week it was a total bomb. They thought they were going to have to take it off. And what happens is it did okay, and that's it. So, and it's doing okay on Friday night. But Friday night's not a television night. So maybe they should move it back to a real night, see how it does. So Mark goes on your show, said nice things, but then he did make the statement that the show, Shark Tank, which again is a show of 4 or 5 people that go, do different things, that it did better in the ratings. And I said, whoa, what have we here?
Right.
I knew it didn't. I mean, I knew that. But so I called up the Nielsen people. I have people that do this. And they called up the Nielsen and the NBC Universal people. And I sent you a little copy of the Nielsen ratings where basically we kill them. Now, you got to understand, not only kill them, but we're in the 13th season now. This isn't a brand new show.
Right.
After you look at what happens with American Idol. In the first season we were beating American Idol, and in the first season we were on many evenings the #1 show, and on television, and that was a great honor and all that stuff. But we did very well. But this is the 13th season, and not only did we beat them, we're looking at last season because this is just going on Sunday night. I hope all your viewers and listeners are going to watch it, but. What happened, not only did we beat it, but we had to go up against the Academy Awards last year. How would you like a show that goes up? They programmed it incorrectly.
That's
and it
unbelievable.
No. It's a show opened against the Academy Awards. I said, I don't mind competition, folks. I like, I'm sort of a competitive guy, but you don't open a show and have a show against the Academy Awards. So this year they waited. So as you know, the Academy Awards, which, gets 40, 50 million people, the Academy Awards now is over, and our show goes on Sunday night. But despite that, and we did fine. I mean, we did fine against the Academy Awards, believe it or not. But despite that, so I sent you the ratings, and basically it wins in all categories, and easily wins in all categories. And, you have the ratings, and you can read them if you want, but it's not a big thing. But they come right out of Nielsen.
So your point is that
I just like the truth.
You want the truth.
I'm an extremely truthful person.
Some people would say, why does this matter to you? But I think
everything matters to me.
Everything matters to you. Things get under your skin.
Not under my skin, no. You know what? If let's say let's say he did beat me in the ratings.
Right.
I would say that I wouldn't be calling you.
Right.
I'd call you, but I wouldn't be talking about that. I'd try to get off.
You try to keep it quiet.
No, I tried. I'd sort of. But when it's incorrect, and when Nielsen is the king in terms of this, whether we like him or don't like him, right?
Right.
And Nielsen has been very truthful over the years about The Apprentice, and The Apprentice is a monster. And that's why it's on in like 80.
So what do you want to say to Mark Cuban?
Nothing. I'll tell you what I want to say.
He just wanted to set the record straight.
He was so nice to my children and to me.
Right.
And so respectful. And talking about how my children are amazing and all that stuff. So I don't want to say anything. I think I think it's fine. But
why don't you buy a basketball team and beat his basketball team?
I have every one of my friends owns a basketball team. They're miserable.
They hate it.
They don't sleep at night. Or sports teams. I mean, I see these guys. George Steinbrenner, as you remember, was one of my best friends.
Right.
Uh-huh. You want to see a miserable evening? Go to George to a baseball game, to a Yankee game. It
Really?
was brutal. Yeah, he loved me. George.
Because it's work.
I used to say it was exhausting to sit with George at a game. If Derek Jeter didn't get a home run, he'd say, Donald, I'm telling you, he's no good. George was brutal. he was brutal.
You don't want to live your life like that.
But the truth is, these guys live and die by victories. Most of them lose. Most of them don't do a very good job. And I see it. And they say, they're just really miserable. They live and die. And with all the teams, there's only one team that's going to win ultimately.
Right, I know it's not good odds.
And they're very unhappy people. So
do you
Donald did try to get into the sports game at one point. Remember that league?
Don't forget. Well, I bought a cheapo football. I figured I could get into the NFL real cheap.
Right.
That was really one of those harassment deals where we can get into the NFL for no money. That
right. Well, you try and you see what happens.
And
Do you own?
But I've had more Mike Tyson fights than anybody else. I have a lot of fights, and I'm very much involved in sports in a lot of ways.
Do you own Miss Teen? Miss Teen.
I own Miss Teen
USA,
and I own Miss USA and Miss Universe. I own the pageant.
So the big news this week was that Miss Teen Delaware was in a porno.
Yeah, and we had to tell her to get a letter of resignation very quickly. Yeah.
Why though? Why?
Well,
she was in a porn.
So what?
Question.
You think about it. Think about our country.
So what?
Kim Kardashian's a big star because she was in a tape. Paris Hilton was in a tape.
Do you think Kim Kardashian's beautiful?
No. I mean, I think.
Do you think she's good looking?
I think she has a beautiful face.
Do you think so? Okay.
I don't like that big trunk.
Well, she's got a huge trunk.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
Well, it's seriously big.
Yeah. So what do you think of her?
I think she's a very nice person. She was on The Apprentice, so I think she's a very nice person.
Yes, I understand that, but I'm saying...
No, I think she's a very nice person. Howard, looks don't. I'm not that kind of a person. Looks don't matter to me.
Right.
The looks of a woman
they don't
do
matter
not matter.
To you.
Okay?
Not at all. No, seriously.
Now that he's married.
No,
no, they don't marry. I don't look at women for their beauty. I look at women for what's inside. Okay,
what kind of porno was she in, though, by the way? Did you see the porno? Did you?
I didn't see it. No, what happened is Miss Teen USA, a very lovely young woman.
Right.
Although it's hard to say I don't look at looks and yet I own the Miss Universe contest.
That's what I mean. I can't believe you're for
That's
real.
Sort of like,
Yeah.
well, I'm trying to be very politically correct.
Right.
This is a world of being politically correct, and which is destroying our country, by the way. Everyone's so politically correct.
You can't even call anyone fat anymore.
You can't call anybody fat.
You can't.
They accused me. They said that I called Rosie O'Donnell a big fat slob, and I said that's not right. I didn't use the word fat. But I've got.
You're still angry with her?
No, I don't care about Rosie. Rosie's gone. She's gone.
I like her.
You do, really?
Yeah, I really do.
Well,
I've had her to my home. We have dinner
Well,
together.
if Rosie finally, says something nice about Donald will.
I'm going to bring you guys together.
Because you're a guy.
No, don't bother. It's okay. But
I'm going to bring you together.
She's fine. I don't really think about her, to be honest. But what happens is the young woman from the Miss Teen USA, beautiful young woman, got very much involved with the whole porno deal. And she actually, we suggested it to her because it's nicer. But she actually was, she gave her letter of resignation. That system, that beauty pageant system, people don't give it enough credit. It's an amazing system. These parents, the way these girls, most of them are grown. I mean, it's amazing.
How does it work, though?
It's like a military regiment.
No, but how does it work? In other words, did she try to cover? She was in a porn, obviously, years ago or something.
She was in a porn, and it came out, and because she,
it couldn't have been years ago. She's not that old.
Within the world of the beauty pageants, Miss Teen USA, that's potentially a Miss Universe candidate.
Right.
Miss Universe. Do you know in some countries, like in South America, if you become Miss Universe, you don't pay taxes for the rest of your life. There's no bigger. In Venezuela, as an example, and we had Diana Mendoza. You remember the great Diana Mendoza 2 seasons ago in The Apprentice, how beautiful she was. She was like the most beautiful.
Super hot.
But again, I didn't notice that. Anyway, but that in Venezuela, Colombia, Brazil, if you become Miss Universe, you're like the biggest star. You're bigger than any soccer star. You're bigger than anything. It's the biggest thing. So anyway,
but describe to me how it works. In other words, let's say so. Did she try to hide the fact that she was in a porno, and then you guys discover it?
We don't know whether or not she hid it, but it came out. And the problem is because she's Miss Teen USA, all of a sudden she has a lot of notoriety, and probably one of her friends that's jealous of her because that's the way life works. Everyone's jealous. They're all jealous of you, Howard.
Of course.
They all kiss your ass. And then they, behind your back, they say you're terrible.
But what was she thinking being in a porn?
I don't know. Well, because it was before she did this.
Was it a home
She didn't know she was going to be Miss Teen USA.
I mean, she figured she'll do porn, she'll make some money, and then she'll become Miss Teen USA, unrelated. And that's what happened. She won Miss Teen
USA. Will you watch the porn? I'm going to see it because...
Will you call me and let me know how good it is?
You're going to watch it because you know what? She must be insanely... When do you see a girl that insanely hot in porn?
She's supposed to be very beautiful. I mean, I've met her once quickly, but she's supposed to be very beautiful. But she got involved, and she actually offered her letter of resignation, and we had to accept it. You would not have. You would not have accepted it.
Oh no, I would have made. You would
have said you're a double winner, right?
Well, if she hadn't resigned, what would you have done? Would you have just fired her?
Well, we probably would have had to. It's a very unique system. I mean, the parents would have gone nuts. The people that, and it's a big. I look at the different magazines and I see how they're dying. Right? They're just dying.
It's over.
You look at pageant. Did you ever hear of a word magazine pageantry?
No.
The thing's like 2 inches. You never saw anything like it.
I'm heterosexual, of course I have.
Well, okay, pageantry. But it's a magazine on beauty pageants.
Right.
And it's like through the roof. And it's just amazing. It's a big deal. And she did this, and she was forced to, and she was asked to, but she resigned. And she did the right thing.
Did your Twitter account get hacked?
Yeah, it got hacked.
How does that happen?
Somebody, you got a lot of geniuses out there, and I have a hot Twitter account, @RealDonaldTrump. Will you tell your people to hook in? So, @RealDonaldTrump.
Isn't it crazy to you that, somebody that smart is busy wasting their time hacking into your Twitter?
Yeah, it doesn't do them any good other than they get arrested. It's like crazy. So, we're looking at it.
If you had that ability, wouldn't you spend every minute, inventing stuff and becoming very wealthy?
Well, they hooked in, and they put a quote from Lil Wayne on my account.
On your account?
And for 10 minutes, I was really ridiculed. All the enemies said Trump has lost it. This was something to do with the hoes and women. All women are hoes. So, this thing came out, and I'm going to have, in a very short period of time, over 3 million people.
Wow.
And it's a big deal. And
sure.
I think they pick up 20 to 25,000 sometimes a month. And, it's just going through the roof.
How many tweets do you do a day?
Mine's new compared to some of these. What?
How many Twitter followers does Mark Cuban have?
I don't know. I didn't check.
Don't you? You have to
I hope
check.
He has a lot. I didn't check.
Don't you check every day to see if you have more followers than Mark
No, but
Cuban?
I have other people that I do check that with.
And you
I
tweet-
do have other people.
Who do you check? Who do you check?
Who do you check?
I have very important followers. I have, haters, and I have losers, and I have reporters, and I have everybody's on mine.
But I know you. You must have actually researched this whole Twitter thing, and you probably have people who know how to cultivate it and how to, handle this Twitter
I
thing.
have great people, but you know what? More importantly, but it's my thought. I mean, it's my thoughts. Nobody else will give thoughts like this, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is my thought. Like, for instance, the Pope. Why is he? He should just
ride
sit
it
back
out
and die. He looks so bad. Everyone's saying, "What did he do wrong?" They said it wasn't the first time. I said, "Oh, really? When was the last time?" 600 years ago. Okay, look, let's call that the first time, right? But the Pope should just sort of sit back and enjoy and relax.
Of course.
Put some other people and run it, and you die. I'm used to watching old popes, like Pope John. I mean, the guy couldn't even walk. He was bent over like a pretzel, and he was cool.
But the thing is, Donald, you must imagine that something very bad is forcing him out of office.
It probably was, but I don't know. This Pope didn't resonate. A little bit like Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney should have won the election, and I liked him, and I do like him. He's a nice man, but he didn't resonate.
He does. You don't warm up to this Pope.
I liked Mitt Romney, and I call them the same. This Pope didn't resonate. First of all, he comes from Germany. Somehow, hey, I'm part German. A German Pope. I'm not sure that works.
What do you think of the new black Pope, maybe? That might be a big deal.
That would be very exciting.
Donald wants to see a birth certificate.
Do you want to see a birth certificate on the black Pope?
That would be very exciting.
Very exciting.
Hey, but listen, on the Twitter, so it's like I'll have 3 million, 4 million people within whatever period of time, right? So for millions of people. So essentially, I own more than the New York Times by a lot.
Right.
And I don't have to sustain the losses.
That's true.
The New York Times used to have a lot of power. Now it's a whole different thing, and it loses its ass. The newspaper business is going to be over very soon. When people see me reading a newspaper, like my kids, Ivanka comes in. She said, "Daddy, what are you doing?" She looks at me reading.
What is that?
She doesn't understand what I'm doing.
I know. It's
You're
such
getting your hands dirty with that print. Why are you doing that, Daddy? And she picks out her computer. She presses the name Donald Trump, and she gives me 20 stories.
Isn't there something you love about still holding a newspaper in your hand? Me too.
We're old-fashioned.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah.
We're old-fashioned. But you get about 10 years younger, it's like they look at us like, forget it.
Hey, do you lay in bed and watch the Oscars, and do you tweet during the Oscars?
Well, I did this time. And I got it.
Are you laying in bed with your wife when you're watching the Oscars?
Generally speaking, yes.
Were you completely nude and she was nude?
Well, let's not comment on that. But at least she has a great figure.
You ever tweet, "We're here completely nude"?
Yeah, but we won't comment on that. But she has a great figure. But I did tweet on the Oscars, and I.
Yeah, you didn't like the Oscars so much.
No, I thought they were. I think I didn't. First of all, I thought the set was terrible. It was so tacky. It was disgusting. I really thought Seth MacFarlane was fine.
Right.
I thought that I don't like him. He did me on the Comedy Central roast. They roasted the hell out of me, by the way.
Right. I remember.
Yeah. He was the guy, and he was terrific. It was terrific then, but he could really be the Seth. He was held back, even though they said he went too much. He was held back.
Right.
But I thought that there was a lack of glamour. I mean, even the woman who won, she falls down the stairs. That's very glamorous.
That dress.
No, think of it.
Yeah.
Think of it. In the old days, Vivian Lee.
They knew how to do it.
But you're right in a way.
Vivian Lee did not fall. Clark Gable didn't.
You're right. Her falling down was sort of the symbol, if you will, of the whole thing falling apart.
Yeah, the whole. No, I thought it was fine, but I didn't find. And I tweeted. I said, "Where is the glamour?" Because I'm a romantic. People wouldn't know that about me, but I'm a major romantic. But I said, where is the glamour? Where is the beauty? There's no beauty. There's no glamour.
Why can't I warm up to that Anne Hathaway? I find her annoying.
You know what? I'll tell you what. It's going to happen. She lived in Trump Tower. I like all people that live in my buildings. Okay?
Right.
Anybody that lives in my building, even if they're really unattractive, I consider them to be beautiful. All right?
Right.
So what happens is she lives in my building. She lived there with the Italian scoundrel. You know the scoundrel?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we didn't know. He paid his rent on time until the very end. It was one of those things. But she got lucky when she got rid of this guy. But she lived in my building, so I got to see her up close and personal. I wasn't a fan at all, but she's grown on me. You know, it's like the Mona Lisa. A lot of times you'll have a painting. Friends of mine that really do the paintings big league. A lot of times they won't like it, but in the end they almost fall in love with it. They're like infatuated with it. They can't leave. I mean, they become sickos. They want to sit in the room and look at the
She's a terrific actress, but when she makes those speeches, when she makes those speeches with, oh my God, it's very.
Well, that's all phony rehearsed stuff.
Right, it's all actressy to me, you know.
You know, when they get up and they want to thank people and they forget and they don't really forget, but they want to make it like it's a big deal because they're so excited. It's all bullshit.
Do you know why I disagree? You know what I disagreed with you on?
What?
I feel this movie, Django Unchained, was one of the greatest movies of all time.
No, I didn't think so.
Did you watch it?
I'm with you, Donald.
Wait a second. Did you watch it?
It was a movie that. First
Donald
of all,
loves movies.
Okay, for those of us,
it's great, and it's not racist.
Okay, but for like the sick kid up in Massachusetts, up in Connecticut, that wacko kid, that dirty wacko kid.
Lanza?
Now, if a kid like this is going to see this movie, you know, if you're a little bit off to start off with, that movie is not good for people to see. Okay, because I've never seen a movie where so many bodies exploded as a bullet hit them. I mean, I've never seen a movie that bad in terms of that. And you know, I just
Terminator.
thought it was a terrible movie. I thought it was a totally racist movie.
No, why would you say that?
It's not racist.
I thought it was racist.
I'll tell you why it's not racist.
First, you had the white guys killing the blacks. Then you had the black guys killing the white. I thought it was a terribly racist movie, and I thought it was really vicious and really. I thought it was bad. You know, these people that talk about gun control and should we have guns and shouldn't we have guns. But when you look at that movie can really screw up some kid that's a little
I
bit
admired that movie, and I'll tell you why. It reminded me, even though it's a fantasy, it reminded me that our country was based on something so horrible, so horrific, slavery. And that if anything, it had the opposite effect on me. It made me feel more empathic with the black plight.
Well, I didn't like it, and I thought it was a totally racist movie. So what are you going to do?
I think you're reaching, Howard. You're
Not
saying
at all.
that movie
I'm
did
telling
that
you.
for everyone.
That
did that for you,
For
and
me.
no one
I
else.
think
It was totally.
I think Howard's trying to be politically.
Not at all.
Absolutely.
I returned.
You know, this
I think this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Halfway through the movie, I turned to my wife. I said, "Quentin Tarantino is a genius, and this is one of the most emotional movies
Because
I've ever
you're
seen."
adding something to the movie that's not there.
You're all crazy.
Politically correct.
Really?
And
He's
this
being
is a headline.
outrageous.
You know, Robin, this is going to be a headline tomorrow.
I'm not trying to be politically correct.
There's going to be a headline tomorrow. Howard Stern tries to be political. Because
No.
How long have you been on the air, Howard?
Donald, this is how I really feel.
Ever that he's been politically correct.
I'm telling you my true belief. I've always been honest.
Movie, Howard, and it was a shitty movie in my opinion.
One of the best movies ever made.
It was totally just a revenge movie. It was nothing.
I thought it was a nothing movie, and I thought, you know, when a bullet hits the body doesn't have to explode for 2 blocks away. You know, the whole thing was disgusting, and that happened like hundreds of times. I thought it was disgusting, and I thought it was very bad for young people to see that movie because I think it can really influence them.
Did you have sex during the Academy Awards?
No, I didn't.
When's the last time you had sex?
He paid attention.
When is the last time you had sex with your wife?
Well, let's see. What time is it?
Come on, be honest.
What time is it, Rob?
Be honest.
I won't say that, but
has it really been that long?
I have a great wife. I do. I have a great wife, a beautiful wife. She was on the cover of Avenue magazine. She's been on many, many covers, including Vogue. She's a great person.
Will we ever see
and
her
a very nice person.
Will we ever see her do a nude layout?
No, I don't think so.
That's a shame.
I tend to doubt it.
Very sexy woman.
I tend to doubt it. I think if we do, I will not be a happy camper.
And that woman stays in shape, man.
Oh, she's in shape. You know, but she's naturally in shape. It's not a big workout deal or anything, which is nicer, you know, to be honest.
Well, she knows with you she's got to stay in shape.
Well, I saw a woman the other day. You know, she's in shape, but then I touched her arm, and it was like, you know, a piece of steel.
That's right.
I don't like that. No, she's naturally in good shape. Absolutely. She's a very beautiful woman, considered one of the great beauties of the world. So I don't know how I got her because, you know, beauty doesn't matter to me.
That's right. Yeah,
I told you that.
Did you wake up one day and go, "Oh my God, she's actually beautiful"?
No, that's the way it happened.
You fell in love with her personality first. Well, listen to me.
I fell in love with her soul. So listen, Howard. You know, I'm going to do the Today Show now, so I have to run. But I will tell you. See who I do first? I do Howard first, and Robin.
Who will?
Robin's so important to you, Howard. Do you have any idea how lucky you are, Howard?
I thank God every day.
I mean,
I do.
Robin is just great. She's got such a way.
She's fantastic.
No,
She's,
that's true, and I mean, I've said it a long time.
she is fantastic.
This is not a major breaking story, but she is fantastic.
You're
Well,
right.
thank you.
You're
I do love
absolutely
her.
right.
So, Howard, I just wanted to call you up at the Nielsen ratings. And
Very
if
good.
you
We
look
have
at
it.
The Apprentice versus that other show,
Right.
Shark Tank, which is fine, by the way. I think it's fine. But if you look, The Apprentice blows it away. Do you have the Nielsen ratings?
I have it in front of me. You're not lying.
Confirm that.
I am confirming it right now.
Thank you. We
By the
love
way,
you.
answer this one question. How old is Melania allowed to get before you cut off her age?
Well, I'd love to give you an answer there, Howard, because I could do, but then it becomes a headline, and so I would say this: when she's 80, 90, I would still consider her a great beauty and a great wife.
Yeah, I think this marriage is going to last. I always said it.
Well, she's very strong and very nice. I mean, she understands me. She gives me my space, which I really need. One quick story on Melania, because I have a couple of minutes. They just told me, but one quick story, because I do love this show. One quick story. So Tom Cruise calls me, and he wants to go to the Wellman skating rink. So I call up Melania. I say, can you believe it? Tom Cruise called. Do you believe it? She goes, but why do you tell me this? You're a much bigger star than him. He is nothing compared to you. He is nothing. Tom Cruise is just a movie.
She's
You're
amazing.
the biggest star in the world. There's no bigger star.
She
And I
knows
said,
how to get you hard.
Well, no, look, I said, really? Do you believe that? Yes, of course. Don't even waste my time by telling me about that. And I'm saying, other people, if I said that, they'd say, I can't believe, what does he want you for? So she's very smart, and she's a terrific woman, and that's good.
She loves you.
And I love you guys, and
All
take
right.
care of yourselves. And I just wanted to set the record straight.
Who will be interviewing you on the Today Show?
Matt Lauer.
All right, very good.
Okay?
All right.
So long.
So long.
Bye-bye. Bye, Robin.
The wonderful and vivacious Donald Trump, who reminds us that he is beating Mark Cuban in the ratings even still.
All right, so Gerard Butler.
He says he went to meditate on this pilgrimage at this Hindu temple, and he felt like he was Jesus Christ when he came back. Like he could shoot fire out of his hands. He partied with Mel Gibson in February at a nightclub. You see that whole group of guys out. It's pretty crazy.
What do you say to Mel?
Big Streisand fan. He's one of these guys that does all these crazy things. He took this motorcycle trip in India, got sick from drinking from the Ganges River.
People shit in there and die.
Gerard Butler's in a new movie. Look at you, still as handsome as ever. I'm all right. I'm exhausted from my vacation.
Oh yeah.
I worked the whole vacation. My audience thinks I was off. I was working. I got 2 jobs now.
What were you working on?
America's Got
America's
Talent.
Got Talent. Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't seem like
Americans Got Talent?
Yeah,
no, I said America's Got Talent. I know the name of the show. I've seen it.
I got to tell you, you know what it is, Gerard? It's like, it was long. People don't think that's work, but it was. It was exhausting. It took me like 3 days to recover from it.
Is that right? What, emotionally exhausting or just the...
Well, I would tell you about it, but my audience was so cruel about me talking about it last time that I'm going to just concentrate on you right now.
This is a Judd Apatow thing, yeah?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he didn't like when I talk about it, so fine. Let's give Judd Apatow his wish.
Well, maybe I shouldn't talk about it, and I'll never have the opportunity of working with Judd Apatow.
Hey, when you talk about a guest coming in, I wish, because you're so masculine, but yet you're a huge Barbra Streisand fan. And I mean, I'm a big fan.
He can be. See, that's how you got to be very masculine to do that.
I'm a big Barbra Streisand fan of her films. I thought she was a fabulous director, and because I think she was a woman and a strong woman, they never gave her the credit, I think.
Right.
But you like her music.
Well, how many movies did she direct, Howard?
Well, there was Yentl. There was
Yentl's a better name.
Yenter.
Prince of Tides.
Prince of Tides was another one. The Way We Were, she didn't direct.
No, she
But she did the one with Ryan O'Neal.
Ryan O'Neal, yeah.
I think she directed
the boxing one.
Yeah, I think she directed that, but I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Did she direct Main Event?
I don't think so.
Are you a Barbra Streisand fan musically?
No, I like her music. I just everything about her, you know. I mean, I grew up with Barbra Streisand, and she's just. I mean, even when you look at singers today, the difference in the quality of voice, and even just that charisma that they had in those days, you know, she was the shit.
You know, it's unbelievable what's going on in music. It's almost not cool to be a musician anymore, right? But hey, are you putting out a rock record?
No.
Did you go to Marilyn Manson and Johnny?
Sim. Mas você sabe por que ela tá tomando, né, Dani? Ela já falou que usa aquele programa lá que eu falei. E ela não desinstala? Eu já falei que é aquilo lá. Porque, ó, eu já expliquei pra ela que na época que eu tomava na primária e na secundária, era por causa desse programa. Aí, desde que... Tipo, agora quando eu tomo, é só na principal. Porque eu não tenho mais aquele programa instalado. E ela tem. Eu falei aquele dia na live pra ela. Porque daí, tanto que se eu tomo só na principal. Não tomo em mais nenhuma. Que é porque eu acho que a minha conta deve estar suja. Sei lá, mano. De tanta denúncia, sabe? E daí... Porque na secundária eu nunca mais levei, velho. Eu só levei no Warzone... na época de Almazra. Eu nunca mais levei nessa secundária.
Mas não você passou, não. Veio outro.
Ô, só se multa no jogo, por gentileza. Eu não consegui entender nada que você falou, porque duplicou. Eu só entendi o fone. Enfim, Dani, fala pra ela desinstalar, porque se ela toma... Sim, porque se ela toma em uma conta, ela vai tomando em todas as outras.
Mas não na Logitech, comprei Redragon mesmo.
Ah, entendi.
Zeus Pro, sei lá o que.
Só por causa da RGB, né, Guzula?
Lógico, né?
Todas as estações. Shadow 1 falando. A nossa mobilização foi autorizada.
Eu não duvido. Porque o meu que eu tenho também. O do Lucas não tem RGB, o meu tem. E é tipo a mesma coisa, os dois.
Peguem seus paraquedas e tudo mais.
Apesar que o dele é diferente. O dele dá pra usar no Play. O meu não daria pra usar. Ah, não, daria, né? Não daria pra usar no controle, né, amor? Porque o seu tem entrada. O seu tem a entrada P2, o meu só tem o USB. O meu não desacopla aquela parte do teu 7.1. Igual do teu lá. Pra ir pro controle. Não, eu sei, mas não daria pra conectar no controle. Se fosse longe da TV. Tipo, quando jogava na TV que a gente era obrigado a conectar no controle, não daria certo. Mas eu sei que perde a qualidade, né, conectando no controle.
O controle eu acho que é mono, ele não é surround.
Ah, eu vou te falar. Eu vou te falar que o meu eu tinha comprado por ser 7.1. Não consegui usar 100, mas depois que eu troquei pra esse daqui que não é, eu gostei bastante desse aqui, bastante mesmo.
No videogame não funciona direito, tá também.
Esse barulho é alguém espirrando?
Eu não tô ouvindo, não.
Ai, tem cara comigo, morri. Morta, muito morta.
Seu companheiro tá indo pro gulag. Ele vai lutar por uma chance de remobilizar.
Vocês estão correndo aqui, feito doido.
É, o puto correu aqui de mim. Ele tá aqui dentro, ó. Não tá, não. Onde que ele foi, velho?
Esquadrão liberado pra remobilizar.
Nossa, que gulag pobre de grana, não tinha nada.
Chegou aqui.
Mandando gás lacrimogêneo.
Meu Deus, é uma Nath aqui. Ai, gente, eu morri de muito burra. Onde que é a base secreta? Nossa, a base tá aí do lado, velho. Nossa, eu morri de muito burra, velho. Eu acertei tudo a coluna.
Meu Deus.
Não acertava o cara. Muito animal de tetas.
Mata.
Mano, ele tá lá no fundo, velho. Não sai. Ah, não é possível.
Sua luta acabou, soldado.
Esse cara com o negocinho da luz.
Esse cara acerta meus pés e me mata. Eu tô acertando o peito dele, cara.
Pássaro marcado.
Thank you, Winky. 𝗛𝗄𝗏. Lala.
Falou, manito. Só que o seu marido aí eu tô meio retardado, né, mano?
Acho que ele lembra de você.
Me ruxaram, mano.
Mas já? É o mesmo cara? Tem como.
Inimigo chegando na A, ó.
Eles vieram de PQD.
Entendido.
É, ruxaram tudo.
Eita.
Ah, como que não morre, mano? Cada pila na boca dele. Mano, o que esses caras foram fazer aí? Tá revivendo, amor.
Reviveu já.
Ah, tava sem shield essa piranha.
Eita, porra. Eu vou embora, né?
Ah, é sem mouse, Dani? Bonitinho. Oi, você não tem que ajustar o DPI? O DPI não é diferente do que você usava? Sem mouse. Eu falei sem fio, não falei?
Não.
Falei sem mouse?
Falou.
Ai, ai, essa é a cabeça de uma mãe, entendeu? Pesada.
Acabar de comprar essa loja miserável aí.
Got a buy station here.
Got a buy station here.
O da Razer não tinha. Tá, mas você não conseguia configurar o tanto de DPI? Você não baixava o programa, né? Com medo do Shadow. Do inanimável. Inominável. Inominável. Ô, amor, você vai ficar me humilhando aqui em live? Licença.
Tá se sentindo humilhado, ok?
Como é que é? Nossa, eu odeio quando você faz
Tem uma
isso.
caixa de armamento chegando.
Tem cara. Brinks. Que isso, só o Guzula vivo. Salvou todo mundo. Quem diria, hein, Guzula?
Se juntar dinheirinho, comprar os amiguinhos. Matar que é bom.
Quem diria, hein?
Né? Carregando todo mundo.
Pois é. Ainda bem que você é forte pra carregar 3.
Sabia que gordo agora era forte.
Ai, Guzula, fala que você se auto-ofende.
Ah, mas eu sou realista, pô. Não tô me ofendendo. Acabar esse bagulho.
Ah, mas você é fraco. Você não é fraco, né?
Vocês querem uma caixinha de munições?
Ah, eu vou querer.
Que forte, my horse.
Olha o dado aqui.
Gás se movendo.
Tink, Wink.
Estação de compra aliada mobilizada.
𝗛𝗵𝗄. Passa a placa, vida.
Muito bem, seu esquadrão tá na zona segura.
Ó, tem placa aqui, ó.
Tem uma caixa de blindagem aliada aqui.
Estação de compra aliada pronta.
Você faz como esses áudiozinhos aí? Eu quero fazer graça aqui na live.
É uma placa de som que vem junto com o
Ah,
microfone.
rico,
Dinheiro
né?
aqui.
Rico. R$120 na Shopee.
Ah, que legal.
Você compra o microfone completo, com haste, com abafador e com essa placa de
Mentira.
som.
Até com o braço?
Aqui tá a palminha, ó a palminha. Ó, tá gritada daqui, ó. Cadê?
Eu
Tem
tenho...
um inimigo descendo na área.
Nossa senhora! Que isso? Que balinha foi essa? Cadê a minha mod Daniela? Dá um clipezinho aí. O cara, nossa senhora. Ó, tem outro, tem outro. Tem outro. Foi HS, hein? Foi HS, hein? Não menospreza a minha balinha, não. Foi HS.
Qual o bagulho do comando do Kip, pá?
Não tem.